Deep within a bleak and dismal swamp, hidden beneath its murky waters, lies the headquarters of the most sinister villains of all time, the Legion of Doom.
Hey, what's up, everybody? We have a very special guest today. We have I think, is it world famous? We have
No,
the,
not famous.
okay, we have on the cusp of being world famous, a household name. We have Illuminerdy, aka Tyler, with us today. Say hello.
Hello.
We already got some people in the chat. Let's see, we got Ryan Bragg. Hello, everyone. James A, is that emoji like we're not on yet? I think we were on pretty much on time. We're a minute late.
Almost.
Some people are like 20 minutes late on a stream. What up, a fifth of Jack? Hello. You're looking ripped in your profile picture, by the way. My God. We got T Hodge. Oh, the cute little doggy. Hello and good evening. Eastern Standard Time, do you think? Are they all mad at us for being a minute late?
Possibly. I don't know.
You know what? It's okay. We were worth the wait. Stay nerdy. Yes, if you guys want to save on 1 to 3 books, use code. Wait, that's the wrong code to use.
Stay nerdy, ship it together on 4. Yeah.
Oh yeah, stay. Oh, I got a little fancy banner. Look at that. Buying 4 or more books, save 5% with code Braveboyssit.
I gotta do all this whenever I live stream one day.
I know, right? It's fun. It's also fun when you're on somebody else's live stream and you get to just be their wingman. It's like, and you get to just like I overuse their code so that they like I'll try to set up segues like speaking of buying books, if you want to buy 4 or more books, you know. That's what I like. I wish I was ripped as my logo is. Did you buy the bat strap? Okay, we should be clear. It's an Apple Watch strap that he sent me, a Batman that he said I need to get. I have not bought it yet.
Yeah, I had questions on that. I was like,
Yeah,
what are we talking about here?
we gotta be clear about that. Good luck with your move, Illuminerdy. Oh, so it's
Thank
like
you.
not only are you world famous, but it's a world famous move.
No, it's a scary move. I think everybody knows I'm scared if I'm stopping YouTube for a little bit.
Yeah, but I feel like it could be interesting to like talk about your move experience as a comic book collector because like it's not easy to move these things, you know.
Yeah, it's been a challenge, and I do plan on filming like some stuff just to keep in touch, kind of. But it's been like balls to the wall this whole time. So
So like every time your wife says, "Can you move that box?" You're like, "Oh, I gotta film it. You have to move it instead."
yeah, I could pull that one.
I think you could do that, right? Those books will not be light. No, they won't.
No.
Hey, Jake and Illuminerdy, Happy New Year's to you both. See, do you think I missed the boat on YouTube having a cool nickname? Like, no one calls me the Brave and the Boy, you know?
No, I think you
Okay.
can still send it.
Yeah. Oh, a Gundam fan. Nice
Omni
little
Kid.
action figure. Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
right. I'm Kid Omnidog.
yeah, Kid Omni Dog. That's what it is.
Though in our last live stream, so there's the Omni Bros live stream, and they had me on a guest for their yearly show of the Omnis, where we basically talk about our favorite books.
Yeah.
And someone demoted me to Baby Omni Dog, so I think
Oof.
I'm moving in the wrong direction. You know?
Yeah, I watched their live stream for the first time. I want to say like 2 weeks ago. I want to try and tune into more live streams, but that it's so hard because it's at like a precise time.
Yeah.
But I try to catch all the playbacks now. I'm making my way through all of them.
I mean, it's hard because like on one hand, as a creator, we don't have a lot of time to do enough stuff, like because we all work. It's not like we get paid to do this, you know. So we're putting in time to do this. We try to put in time to read. I imagine for you, if you're the same way, reading for yourself, but also reading for your channel.
Yep.
And then on top of that, you want to support your friends because they support your videos, but you can't get sucked in because it's like, say you do a review for a book that I haven't read yet. There's this, I don't really want to watch it because what if I accidentally absorb something that you said, you know? So it's always
Yeah.
tough. Like, that's why I do better watching, like, I'll watch a lot of your like haul videos. And it's harder for me because you pump out review videos so fast. Like that's one of my questions, I guess. Like I feel like an Omni comes out and then you come out with your review video for this giant book. Like pretty quick. Like, have you read a lot of these books before, or
Yeah,
like,
so a lot of
what's
it
your
is
process?
from memory. But even that, like, I was playing with the idea of even leaning away from that because now that I'm older, my reading experience would be so much different from
Yeah,
whenever I read it because I've been reading comics since 8. So it's like I could have read some of these stories when I'm like 14, and that's
yeah.
a completely different reading experience. So I'm playing with the idea of just leaning away from that and trying to make more of a loose schedule instead of a strict one. But it is what it is. But most of them are from my memory. Most of them.
Okay, so that's a good question. So, you said you started reading comics at 8. What got you started? Like, what were your early books?
My first comic ever was Ultimates issue 7. I want to say, I always say issue 2, but I feel like I'm always wrong on that. So we'll say 7. Actually, no.
We have to have an official fact checker that's like, hey, wait, in this video you said it was issue 6.
I've said issue 2 in previous videos, but then I looked up when it's the issue where the Ultimates fight the Hulk in Times Square. And
Okay,
I want to
yeah.
say that's like issue 4, but I could be totally off there. That's the one thing where my memory isn't good is what the exact issue number is that a storyline takes place in. I'm horrible at that. But that was my first comic book. Um, and then also, I have them over there, but I don't want to get up in the middle of the stream. But it's like Spawn. I don't know.
Wait, you were reading Spawn at 8?
Yeah, my parents didn't have anything like that, any rules. Yeah,
That's okay. You turned out okay, I think.
yeah, we watched everything. We watched sex scenes of movies, violence. It didn't matter.
Yeah. Paper Jake, that's my nickname. Um, okay. When did omnibuses become a thing? When they exist, are omnibuses going to take over individual issue market? So for me, I kind of like I wanted to catch up when I started reading single issues because like I wasn't getting enough content fast enough. So I started buying trade paperbacks, and then I was like, wait a minute, instead of buying 2 trades, I can buy this deluxe hardcover and it has 2 trades in it. That's one book versus 2. And then I slowly evolved into omnis. I didn't really even realize that was a huge thing. And then I feel like with YouTube it exploded.
Yeah,
But like honestly, like I don't know, like I feel sometimes bad. Like I want to make sure that I wish I knew how much buying an Omni still supported the original creators. You know what I mean? Like when I really love a series, like part of me wishes I still read single issues, but I just can't get back into that. It's like as a space thing and as a money thing, like it's
I want to
hard.
say, which don't quote me on this. I'm king
Okay,
at
hold on.
saying
We have an official quote, guys.
it. I want to say the creators still do have a pretty big hand in
Okay.
the omnibus game, but I
Yeah.
could be wrong on that. That's what I was told. So
Yeah. Okay,
take
so
that with
I'm
you.
still doing good. I'm still supporting him. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, you got to think if their names on the cover, like you're supporting them in some form or fashion. If it's from notoriety or
Yeah.
directly paying them, whatever it may be.
And I've heard some creators talk about like how they even have a hand in like helping find extras for collected editions. So you're right. I mean, they're definitely getting support for it, but it's like it's hard because it's like when does it stop? So like I love Tom King. He had a couple series that I wanted to read this year. He had Danger Street, and he had hit Human Target. And I told myself, okay, I want to wait until they come out as one single book because they came out as 2 separate standard size hardcovers, like 2 volumes for each one. But
Yeah.
then it's like, then you're like, wait a minute, I'm gonna wait for the deluxe. Then you're like, wait, I'm gonna wait for the absolute. And it's like I just keep putting these because like I'm tired of double and triple dipping. But I also want to support my creators.
Yeah,
So
I usually have like a rule for Marvel, and then I have a rule for DC, and then it just continues on, and it's based on like how much they put out
yeah,
omnibuses and stuff like that. Like DC slacks so hard, so it's like I
yes, they
just get
do.
those hardcovers whenever I can and just read them.
Yeah. Do you do any digital reading or are you primarily physical?
I did digital for a short period of time, but I mainly have been physical in my life, so that I'm not against digital. I read
Yeah.
a lot of manga digital now, though.
it was cool to see you guys and the other content creators give your top reads of 2023 on Near Mint Condition. You guys, along with Omar, BJ Kicks, Omnidog, and others, have helped me get back into comics. Oh,
Love
that's
that.
the stuff that we love. And it was great that we all got to be included. You know what I mean? Like, I've talked about it before, how, like, I think, like, these people were people I watched their videos for a long time, because I feel like me and you are both relatively newer on the scene, you know? And, like, my heroes have become my peers and people that I talk to and, like, confide in, and that's, like, a really cool experience, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Being put in a group chat with like Omar and like BJ and Omni
Yeah.
Dog, it was almost like starstruck for a short period of time there.
Oh, is that a crew neck t-shirt Tyler is wearing? Well, time to click off the video. I feel like me and you, besides maybe Bunk's mom, we have to be Bunk, Master B on Comics' two biggest YouTube fans, right? Like, I consistently see like a Facebook post or someone's like, "What comic book YouTubers do you recommend?" And it's like Tyler's like, "Bunk Master B on Comics." Like,
Yeah,
I've seen that a few times. You know, we got to be his biggest fan. We're the two highest tiers of his fan group, which are called the Bunk Mates.
I just think it's crazy that like sometimes there's like certain content creators that are so good and so knowledgeable and so like good at being a fan, I guess is the best way I could describe it. And Bunk
Yeah.
is one of those, and I just don't know how he's not like like on top of the world at this point. But he should be. Like people like that is what should be on top of like the Mount Rushmore of comic book fans.
When I yeah, it almost like gave me like imposter syndrome, because I'm like he'll say something so insightful about a comic book, and I feel like I'm like a kid with action figures that bang them together, and I'm
Yeah,
like, Superman went flying, and he's talking about some deep indie book that like makes you better as a person, and I'm like, so another Batman video.
yeah, yeah. I feel that same thing.
uh I really like the haul videos from Illuminerdy.
Thank
Okay.
you, Ryan.
Yeah, do you have a haul video that you're the most proud of?
Um, yeah, I mean, there's some where I have a little bit more time and I can like put the funny zips and zingers in it, and
Yeah.
like not December, but November's haul is one where like I zoom in on my face a lot and make
Yeah.
fun of myself. But really, hauls are just more loosey goosey. That's why I like them so much. There's not really a structure. It's just here are my things and what I know about this book, and that's it. That's all I got from there.
I like them because I feel like they actually get views. I'd put my heart and soul into a review video, and I feel like it would get like no traction, and then I'll be like, I bought all these books, I spent too much money, and then it gets like 1,000 views. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
there,
can some of you look at my thoughts on a book?
there's a level of it where it does feel a little bit like icky-ish in a way because you're like
Yeah.
showing off what you can afford type of thing. But then there's
Yeah.
also a level of it where you're showing possibly some titles that no one has ever heard of, and that could be their jumping on point of seeing that book and then seeking out to read it. So there's a level
Yeah.
of ickiness, but there's also a level of purity to it in haul videos in general.
I remember that I was like, when I first did my first one, my wife was talking to me, and she like didn't really understand the concept of it. She was like, "Are you sure people are gonna like it? Like, it looks like you're just bragging." And I'm like, "No, it's not about like, I mean, yeah, there's a wish fulfillment side of it with the quantity of the books, but also like there's a side of like I'm talking about what I actually spent my money on. Because occasionally I'll get a free book from OPB, but these are things I've spent my actual hard-earned money on, and that's like a really pure essence. It's really honest, because it's not like we're getting all of these things for free or with commission. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
hell
we're
no.
we're really putting our money where our mouth is with those haul videos. You know. And
Yeah.
you are right. 14 watching and only 3 likes. People smash that like button, or smash that dislike button. You know, it works the same way. You
You're
know.
a true YouTuber if you say smash that like button. That's what you gotta say.
I think my favorite clip I've ever recorded was the one where the very first video I did where my wife opens my haul, and
Oh yeah.
and she had my Thor hammer, and she goes, "Smash that like button." I think that was my favorite. I got to make that like a GIF.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that hit, it's a comic you feel hit you at the perfect time in your life?
Hmm.
I got to think
That's a
about
good
this for a
question.
second.
That's deep.
Yeah.
I know what mine is.
Okay, go.
Mine is not a comic. Mine is a manga, and it's Berserk.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's probably the
got a
wrong.
lot of demons to kill in your personal life or something.
No, I mean just the tone of growth and acceptance of one's flaws and kind of moving forward despite the struggling and the hardship and everything like that. That was that I literally read that at like the best time, and it was very like conformative for me. Like just
Mm.
turned me into a different person. I felt like, as cliche and dumb as that sounds.
Berserk is like daunting to me for a couple of reasons. One reason is that like I've heard people say like I've tried to order it before and they go, you really got to order the first three because it really takes to like the second or the third one to get going,
Yeah.
and like that already alone is daunting. But also like I know myself is that like I, even if I like I would buy I'd buy all of them too quickly and then like get myself burnt out on it. But I have this joke with Jordan, my co-host, and he was explaining to me Berserk, and then he, in the smuggest, most condescending tone I've ever heard, goes, "But I don't think it's for you. You wouldn't gain anything from it." And that just became like my favorite joke ever. Whenever anyone doesn't like a book, I just go, "Oh yeah, you wouldn't gain anything from it. It's not for you."
Yeah, I heard you mention that on it was on Omnidog's live stream one
Yeah.
time, and it's I agree with him. It is 100% an acquired taste. You
Oh,
can
I thought you were gonna say it's 100% not for you.
no,
No,
yeah.
I don't think it is. I don't think it's my type of book, but like, and that's okay. That's why there's
That's
so
fine.
many flavors of ice cream, you know?
Yep, that's totally fine.
I just thought that would have been a really funny way to roast me, though.
Yeah, you're right. Jordan's right.
What omnis are you guys excited for this year, and what are you excited to read this year? I think my next most excited one is the death metal omnibus. Death metal was when I stopped reading single issues, so that'll be like a good little cap off
When
on
does that
my.
come out?
It was supposed to already come out, and it got
Yeah.
pushed to February 20th.
Okay. Because I'm getting rid of some books because of the move, and I had my Death Metal Deluxe, and I was like, do I? And but I'm gonna get rid of it. But I wasn't sure when that came out.
Yeah, it comes out on the 20th. So
Okay.
that one, The Question was a book I keep wanting to read. I started it and then I put it down really quickly. And then I was talking to Bunk about it, and he goes, "I'm gonna spoil the first issue." And he said something, and I go, "Wait, I haven't got to that part yet. I didn't even finish the first issue." But like, it's a goal of mine to get through that book. Volume 2 is coming out, like, and I wanna read The Question this year. That's one of my big goals. And then lastly would be the whatever Ultimate Spider-Mans are coming out this year. I read the first one. It was my second favorite Marvel read of the year, and I would just want to read more Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah, I had the question recommended to me too, like yesterday by one of my viewers. So it's funny you say that.
Yeah. Um, and then just for fun, because I've talked so much shit on this book, I'm ready to get Dark Knight, the absolute Dark Knight returns. You know, Dark Knight Strikes Again. I feel like it's finally time. It comes out again in February. You know, I think
Jordan
it's
likes that, right?
he does. He really likes it, and he like that was like our very first episode was he had let me borrow Dark Knight Returns, and I read it, and I'm like, this is amazing. It's as good as everyone said. Like, how did it live up to the hype? And there's still half a book left, and he goes, keep reading. It gets better.
Just kidding. It goes
I don't think
off
he
the
was
walls.
kidding. Um, okay, we got another viewer question. What are your dogs' names?
All of my dogs' names have nerdy names. So I have Levi. He's named after Captain Levi from Attack on Titan.
Nice.
And
I thought like like the Levi jeans gave you like a kickback.
no. And then Ollie, Green Arrow, and then
Nice.
Bucky is my main dog that I had
Okay,
before.
that would be a perfect name for a three-legged dog, I feel like, you know?
Yeah, for Halloween, I almost like covered one of his paws in tinfoil, but I didn't bite
uh,
on it.
two of my animals have nerdy names. And then I decided my wife should get to name at least one of our cats. But our black cat is Vader. Our gray cat is Grayson because I didn't get permission to name my cat Dick. So Grayson was the closest we could go, and then she named our third one Sophie after the main character from Mamma Mia.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
surprised you didn't name it um Bitewing.
Bitewing. I feel like Bitewing is more of a dog name, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, if you look at the source
What
material.
is he named? What's Bitewing's real name? Is it Haley?
Uh
Like the circus? I remember in like we could vote for it. Tom Taylor tweeted it out and we could all vote. I think I voted for Haley.
I literally just read this when I was on the plane, but I can't remember. I want to say it's something either
How
Haley.
are you even a fan? You don't remember the dog of the main character? I'm just kidding.
Oh, I powered through so many of those standard oversized. God, I did.
I have
Dark Knights of Steel too. I recommend that. Jeez.
I can't wait to read that.
So-
I had another like Lazarus like experience, but with Nightwing. I was reading Nightwing digitally, and I don't know what happened, but I'm trying to read the third trade paperback, right? When it first, or not paperback, the third standard size hardcover, right? But I decided to read it digitally on my iPad. So I read the very first issue of what makes up, I think it's Battle for Bloodhaven. And then I accidentally skipped to what would be the fourth standard size hardcover and skipped 10 issues and was completely like thrown off and completely confused and read all of what's just made up the fourth standard size hardcover. And then I realized I skipped like 6 issues of Nightwing and I was like, "Oh, that explains why I was so confused."
I almost had a similar issue where I was on a plane and I brought a couple of the hardcovers and I accidentally brought volume 2 of Nightwing, but I opened it and right away I was like, this isn't right. So then I jumped back and read the right one.
Okay, so I'm glad I mean, it was only me that makes those mistakes, but at least you almost made those mistakes. That makes me feel a little more seen.
Yeah, almost, yeah. But once you open it
Lazarus,
up and it was like
yeah.
Blockbuster, like I think it was a Blockbuster standing over Dick, like that kind of part there, and I'm like,
Yeah.
this is really not right here, so I closed it.
Yeah, mine was even more crazy. Have you read the fourth standard size hardcover of Nightwing or not yet?
Not yet, nope.
Okay, so it is like it starts with the character death, and I was super confused. Uh,
What?
yeah, I was like, "What happened?"
I
I
hope
love
next
the.
is an omnibus.
Oh, I'm sure it will. The
Yeah.
art is fantastic. The art is so, and they do unique things with the art, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Like there's the issue where it's like all like you could put them all side by side and then there's the issue that's from his point of view.
Yeah, the POV one, that one's cool too.
Yeah. I googled Nightwing POV video and something dirty popped up, so I love the idea of omnibuses. I remember when I first got to Barnes and Noble Ultimate Spider-Man, I love having a great chunk of a story in your lap. Oh. I ordered it and it has shipped the first volume of Berserk and also the pre-ordered ROM omnibus. Ooh, which ROM cover did you go with? I blame Omar for that one. ROM was before my time, but I feel like there's so much hype behind it that I'm like kind of curious, but I'm trying to buy less this year because I would like to someday buy a house with my wife. So
Yeah,
I'm trying
I'm
to.
passing on ROM.
You're passing on ROM?
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, probably me too. But like, I'm happy for everybody because that's so cool for everybody else, right?
Yeah, but before our times though, like
Yeah.
that's just a little too dated for me personally.
What's the oldest book in your collection? Like, not your first book, but like, what's the farthest your books go back in era of when they came out?
I want to say the oldest is. I mean, are we counting like run wise? Because I have like
Yeah.
Secret Wars.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe Secret. Yeah, that would be like really. That'd be pretty old.
Yeah.
I think for me, like my oldest, I got Phantom Stranger. That's pretty old.
Yeah.
The Fourth World Absolutes, which I've actually read and liked. That's about as old as I can go. The Jack Kirby, but that's just Jack Kirby's amazing, you know. And then I have the Secret Wars. Is it an omnibus? Like the first one? It's kind of a small book, but like,
yeah,
it's still an omni, right?
Yeah, it's still an omni, but my cutoff date typically, minus a very few, is like 85. That's where I stop, or where I
Nice.
start rather.
That's an OG. That's like Taylor over there, man. You're like, yeah, I don't read anything past 85.
No. Anything after 85, 85 and after. Yeah.
For me, my rule for DC is usually post-crisis.
Yep.
With like maybe like yeah, but that Superman Silver Age omnibus, Jess is just Omnidog's so excited about it. He's kind of like inspiring me to maybe give it a shot. Like I can't do those Golden Age ones, but that Superman Silver Age, nah, you're right. I'm not gonna do it. Talk me out of it. Help me save my money.
Golden Age, I can kind of get into just because like those are very historical moments for comic books and stuff. But Silver Age is just so bad. Oh my gosh, it just gets way too just dialogue heavy, and then so many like social aspects. Like
Yeah.
for example, Wonder Woman when she becomes like this hippie secret agent. Like I can't touch that.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do that.
I can't wait. I'm not a little tease for the audience. I can't wait till Jess sees that video that I sent you.
Oh yeah.
That's gonna be a
That was
fun
good.
surprise. Thank you, man. I had fun making it. It was revenge for me making. Did you ever see the Batman 66 logo with Omar's face?
No.
Okay, let me see if I can pull up this video really fast. I made this. Jess was like, "Hey, you know how to edit, right? Can you make me this?" And I was like, "Probably." So let me send it. Let me send it.
Yeah,
to my thing really
you're
fast.
the one you sent today was like professional stuff. That was really good.
I gave it to Omar to give to Jess someday, live on air. I feel like that'll be worth it. Okay. Let me go to. Okay, add video clip.
There you go.
Sorry, one sec.
You're fine.
Oh.
Wow, it says kid on here. I didn't even know that.
Oh, okay. Well, let me just play the video then. I can't upload it. Okay, so I made this as a joke for the Omni Bros. Present, share screen, window.
Jeez. What is that from? A thumbnail?
Yeah, it's a thumbnail. He sent me the photo, but it was like he had just pulled it off of a YouTube video or something. Like it was horrible quality. And he's like, "Can you make it spin and grow?" And I'm like, "I mean, probably. Why?" And then like as I'm editing, he's like, "Yeah, I'm trying to do like a Batman 66 like thing." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, I can make that. I can make that."
That's
And
good.
they I guess like one time on Omni Bros, Omar was in the chat telling everybody that he's trying to win the gift card. They do an IST gift card once a month. So with Omar watching, they showed that live for the first time, and I
What
thought
do you
that was
say?
pretty.
What do you say to it?
He was like, "My lawyers will be contacting you."
The typical Omar answer.
Yeah, you can't use Omar's hand in a TikTok video. You can't use his face on a live stream.
Nope.
So I'm excited to see. Oh my, we're a little behind in the chat. What up, friend?
Hey, I down.
No sound. Oh, from the video I played? Sorry. My oldest book is Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1.
Oof.
I think my Marvel rule is even worse. I don't think I'm anything pre the Ultimates universe. Like, or I don't know, maybe like 2000s. Like, I'll Discord you the video. It's perfect. And someday we'll see what I made Omar to give as revenge to Jess, which I think is arguably better, right?
Yeah, that one's 10 times better. That one's great.
Can you make it grow and spin? Request that's what she said. The question is my favorite series ever. Jake said volume 1 is I needed a 10th book. Book's always roasting me. It is Haley. Yeah. I keep telling you that you should name your cats Grey Worm and Greyjoy. I feel like that's because they got neutered, and that feels disparaging. What's up, Kevin?
What up, Kevin?
I'm very well. Oh, they're talking to themselves in the chat. Bitewing's real name is Haley after the Flying Hayrisons performed at. Okay. You mean the Flying Graysons at Haley's Circus.
Bunk just creates chaos. That's why he exists.
The best part of Jake's Lazarus moment in his room tour was him holding up volume 3 and calling it volume 1 after saying he just. Is that what happened? Did I do that? Like, I told people in my room tour, I'm like, at this point, I just want to try to make sure the books fit. I don't care if they're in the right order. And someone's like, by the way, your Thunderbolts are in order 2, 3, 1. Like, or like, all my books are always in the wrong order. At a certain point, like originally, okay, that's a good question. How do you organize your books? If I had all the space in the world, I would go alphabetical chronological. So like A for Animal Man, then B for Batman, and then Batman chronologically. But at this point, I'm just okay. That's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And then, do you keep DC, Marvel, and manga separate, or okay?
Yeah.
And
so
then,
mine goes Indies, manga, Marvel, DC.
Okay, nice. And then, do you mix formats? Like, would you have a standard size hardcover? Okay.
Yeah, all separate.
I have the bookshelf of shame for everything that's not oversized.
Yeah. See, my collection's a little bit easier to make fit because I don't do absolutes like you do. Yeah. So that makes it difficult too.
They do take up a lot of space.
Yeah.
Do you not own any absolutes?
Oh, no absolutes.
Okay. Is there a book that you've ever been tempted in for absolute, or are you just like a hard, fast rule? Which one?
Hush.
Nice.
Yeah, I was this close, and then I was like, I just knew that buying that was just going to open a gate for me, and I said no. Couldn't do it.
So for me, what it was I had really wanted to buy before I owned any absolutes, the 3 I always wanted to own were Long Halloween, Haunted Night, and Dark Victory, the Jeff Loeb, Tim Sales stuff. And I was like bidding on an eBay bid, and it got too rich for my blood. I was like, I don't even think I had an Omni at the time, really, or very many. I think maybe I had 2 Omnis. And I was like, I can't afford this. Just bid out, get the Omni, get your first Omni, which was the Batman by Loeb Omni, get the same stuff. And then you can use the money that you saved to buy Absolute All-Star Superman. That was my way I justified it. And then next thing you know, I have you can see I have that entire top rows. It's got to be at least 30 Absolutes now. Like,
do you remember what was your either Absolute or Omni that opened that gate for you, where you were like, okay, this is my thing now, and you just went gung ho after that?
So for Absolutes, the one that took me the longest to collect when I didn't have enough money for books and I was really struggling over the course of a couple years and a lot of patience was collecting Sandman. That to me was I was just buy volume 1 and eventually you'll get the rest. And that sometimes some of them were out of print, some of them would go back into print, but Sandman was the one that took me a while to collect. But I'm trying to think, I think New Frontier and Kingdom Come were the 2 where reading those books in Absolute, you're just you get what makes Absolute so special. I think they're really good for those quintessential standalone stories, and they can be in this awesome size with this awesome art, and I don't think of course there's some now I would have been happy with the Preacher omnibus, but I got the Absolutes and it took longer and it took more time and it was patient. But that's what's nice about Absolutes is that you get it, you can be more patient with them, you know what I mean? Because they might take longer to come back into print. I feel like certain Omnis, are always going to come back into print, so you should be more patient. I don't think I've been burned too many on Absolutes.
So with Absolutes, do you stick to primarily stories or artists or writers you like, or are you just you're trying to get all of that format at this point?
I think I'm okay. That's a good question. So there are some that I have no idea what they're about. I think there's one called Scarlet, and there's one Danger something or whatever. There's some obscure Absolute, or Ronin, for instance. I have no idea about those stories. Wildcats is another one. I want Wildcats because it's rare and it's hard to get, you know what I mean? Not because I heard the story isn't that good. I heard the compendium has a better. So there was a time when I was getting close to saying I wanted every absolute, but I don't think I'm going to own Dark Knight, whatever the third Dark Knight one is. I don't think I'll get that absolute, you know?
Yeah.
But at this point, like, any easily accessible absolute coming out now, because I think I've gotten a majority of the old ones. Like, I think the only one really left that's left for me maybe would be like Batman and Son. I would really like to have gotten that one. I don't need Batman Incorporated because I have that in the Omni and I don't really like it, but I think I'm past quadruple dipping with absolutes. So I'm not perfect yet, but like I'm trying to think. No, I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect, but I'm past quadruple dipping. That's how I can answer that question. God, it's a sickness, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, but my God, how good is that? How good was that short of when my wife calls me out for having 2 copies of Crisis, and then I have to admit to her I have 3.
Yeah, that I mean, you are pretty into the double dip game. I gotta admit. I mean, you got no problem just getting 3-4 copies of a story. I've been pretty lucky where I want to say I have like Green Lantern by Jeff Johns and Green Lantern Corps, for example. Like they happen to double dip. I've never like seeked out to pick up a story in a different format, if that makes sense. Where I feel like you would get a omnibus and an absolute of the same story just to kind of have the 2 different formats.
But okay, so there has been times. So an example would be Superman Batman by Jeff Loeb, right? I had the 2. So there's 2 absolutes and there's 2 omnis. Yeah. And the 2 absolutes cover the first omni, but they don't cover the second omni. So for some weird reason in my brain, I had the first and second omni. And then JP gave me the first volume as as something to review, and then volume 2 was only like $30. So I bought volume 2 and I had volume 1 and volume 2, and I only had the first omnibus, right? So I feel like a regular rational person could have the 2 absolutes and the second omni, right? Have all the content in 2 formats.
Yeah.
But and I heard that second omni wasn't good. So the way my brain works is I sold that first omni and said I'll never own the second omni because I couldn't have them in different formats, if that makes any sense. Like I couldn't go absolute 1 and 2 covering the first omni and then buying the second omni. Like that just seems super weird to me. Or like the only book that's easily accessible to get, like the Absolute Promethea 3, you can find for like $40 on Amazon. Volume 1 and 2 are like impossible to find anywhere. Some people bought the deluxe 1, the deluxe 2, and the absolute 3. But for some reason, I can't do that. I have to have like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like the consistency in the formats.
I have a little bit of that. I have a little bit of that sickness too. So I think I understand that a lot.
Okay. See, this is a good support group. I like this.
Because for me, like, for example, Star Wars Legends, I kind of mentioned it in my haul. The Empire, Star Wars Legends, the Empire Omnibus, I like the content that's collected in the first Omnibus, but not the second Omnibus. But I don't like having a Volume 1 when there's a Volume 2 because that bothers me. So I have a little touch of what you have also when it comes to that.
The one that was hard for me recently is because, like, I'm really trying to commit to cutting down this year for my wife just so we can eventually own a house someday. And we're in Southern California, which is it's not easy to own a house in California. Yeah. So the one that was hard for me was the only Daredevil Omni that I needed, that I was missing, that I wanted. It was the one that just came out, which was Mark Waid Volume 2. It would slot, I have the gap on my bookshelf. It would slot between Volume 1 and the Charles Soule, right? Like, so it'd be a perfect slot right there. And I was just trying to like, I was watching my OPB commission every day being like, do I have enough? Do I have enough? Do I have enough? And like, but when I finally get that package in, when I slide that Volume 2 in, nothing's going to feel better than that, right? Like, so besides, have you had any whales, or do you have any whales? I know that you bought the Big Damn Sin City, and at one point, and I'm not sure if it was because you bought whale pricing on, or if it was because it was just too big of a book, but you weren't super thrilled with it afterwards. Like, do you have any whales? Is that, or you just patiently wait for anything to come back into print?
So that was the whale that I got. But honestly, I typically stay away from whales. The last whale I bought before that was the Captain America by Mark Waid omnibus. But now with Marvel and DC, I mean, the
Was
way
that
they're
one in your top 5 list or your top 5 comic challenge?
yes, that's my favorite
Okay.
run on Captain America ever. That's why I like bid on that.
Yeah.
And it still wasn't. I think I got it for like 160, but it came with the Dan Jurgens omnibus also, so that's
nice.
pretty decent price there. Same with the Big Damn Sin City. Like, it wasn't whale price again. I think he charged me cover price on that or something like that. But those were the last like whales I've hunted down. I typically try to stay away from that because I will fully get convinced in my head I need this, and then I'll pay something crazy. So I just stay away from it.
And I actually think it's fun if you've been patiently searching out for a book and you find a good price on it, and like you actually get what like should be a way higher price book for a good price. But nothing feels better. Like an example would be this. You remember in the chat like a couple months ago, there was someone selling an Absolute Arkham Asylum.
Right.
I don't even like that book that much. I have the deluxe edition. The art creeps me out and it makes me uncomfortable because the art is supposed to. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like,
Yeah.
I mean, doesn't he get beat up by like Arkham guards in that book? Like, I feel like it's a weird storyline.
Pretty dark, yeah.
Yeah, but I had to get that Absolute because it was going for $500 on eBay and someone was selling it for way less than that. And like, but they talked me out of it. They talked me off, you know, assistant principal of my heart, you know, Chris talked me out of it. And what happened? A couple weeks later, they announced a reprint of that book. Like, it's going to feel so much better getting the reprint of that book.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, we saw it with Gail Simone Wonder Woman. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure you saw the prices that thing was going for, and now we have a reprint in hand, and there's people
on my bookshelf.
Yeah, out $200, $250 on a book.
Yeah. So
sad. I hate to see it, but it happens all the time.
Yeah. And I feel like sometime, and I don't know, some people like to game the system. Like whenever like a book, like when there's a solicitation for a book, you'll instantly see everybody start selling it, you know, and it's just like, I don't know. I've never been the kind of person who thinks that I need to sell enough books to afford to buy books. Like I don't need the hobby to fund itself in that way. I would like to get my YouTube channel big enough to like get a couple more free books than I'm getting now, you know what I mean? But like, I don't ever expect me to like have infinite money to spend on books, you know, like I don't want to be like constantly culling my library. But I've like, I don't think I've ever made a profit off of selling a book, you know what I mean? And I think,
no. Yeah. I've only ever sold a book for cover price or below. I've never went above, but I'm also not, like you said, I'm not trying to profit off of people or off my collection. I'm just trying to read and enjoy the hobby that I love, and that's really it. I'm not.
What did you think?
People.
What did you think of my packaging since you bought a book from me?
It was good. It was really good. Mitch had the best packaging, I gotta admit, though, from Omnibuddy. That was like Fort Knox. Who? Mitch from Omnibuddy.
Who's that? Oh, is that another YouTuber? Is that a small? Oh, okay. I don't know who that is.
Oh, I see what you're doing here. Yeah, I got books from him, and I mean, they were like, I had to pull out a knife to get through the bubble wrap. It was crazy.
Let's try to catch up on this chat a little bit. What whale were you most happy about finally getting in collection? Mine was Annihilation Conquest. So that had to feel good if it was the last of like all, was it 5 in that series or 6?
Yeah, 5. Yep.
Yeah. Books being that's you know what? It is an Easter egg and you caught it. That's why my books are in the wrong order.
It was all part of the plan.
When did you start your YouTube channel and what was the story behind that?
I want to say I started it like a year and 3 months ago, maybe. And honestly, it was an idea of mine that I've had my whole life. I've always been more YouTube than watching TV. I'm not into sports. I like movies and anime, but I've always like that was my form of entertainment was YouTube, and I would always tell myself like I want to do a gaming channel, or I want to do a anime review channel, or comic book channel, something, and I just eventually just said screw it and went for it. It's been
What
fun.
parts, yeah, what parts of it do you enjoy the most? Because I think some of us are in it for different reasons. Like some of us, they just want to talk about the book. For me, I think I'm the one weirdo who, if I could edit someone's channel and not have to be the main person, I'd be happy. Like I just love editing, and I didn't have anyone I could edit for, so I was like, I guess it'll be me. And then I found out that I do enjoy making connections with people online. So for me, it's the connections aspect, like making friends, because I don't have a lot of friends. I have one friend in the real world who I can talk about comics with. So having an online community is fun, and I like editing because like you can do weird things where you make just turn into Wonder Woman,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, mine was primarily friends too. I mean, I have one friend that's into nerdy things, but it's mainly like video games and anime. But I've never had like anime, a comic book group.
yeah.
So as soon as I made my YouTube channel, all I really wanted was just like a community of similarly like-minded people that just liked comic books and can just talk comic books, because I'm not the type where I'm like, if you like this book I don't like, then I don't like you, you know how the
Yeah.
community can be sometimes. I'm not that guy. So
Like
I just
like how
wanted
I treated you when I found out you didn't like Ice Cream Man.
know how everyone treated me. I mean, everybody hated that I didn't like Ice Cream Man. But I am reading volume 2, and I'm enjoying it a lot more than I did volume 1.
I filmed my haul video because when I do haul videos, I'll do them in like sections. So I'll do like the DC section, then the indie section, or I
Same.
guess I need, so for me, I didn't read anything outside of DC until like 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, a year ago, I mean. So to me, I still call Image indie, but a lot of people online are telling me that that's not indie. So I'm trying to rephrase that now. So I filmed my Image section, or my, I don't know what is it, like, can you call Dark Horse or Boom? Like what studios are indie? Like I
That's
don't,
why I don't follow that rule. I've had people say that too. To me, indie is independent, creator owned, anything like that, which Image
yeah,
falls under the umbrella of. So Image is indie, in my opinion.
yeah,
So, but if you do that to Image, then like you just touched on, like you have to do it with Dark Horse, then you have to do it with Boom, and then you have to,
yeah.
IDW, keep doing that. It's too much.
It gets hard. So I'm used to saying it for the big two, but obviously indie fans are passionate, man. Like
Yeah.
true indie fans. But I did my haul video, and then I looked at the ground and realized I left Ice Cream Man Volume 2 on the ground. And I was like, should I reshoot it just to include one more book? And then I was like, nah, it'll just be slipped on my bookshelf.
Yep. Yep.
Because I actually, so my when I do a haul video, or when I do any video, right, any reading list or top 10 list or anything, I shoot the intro with the books facing away from the camera, turned away from the camera, and then I'll flip them around facing the camera and shoot the outro, and then I shoot the rest of the books, because I realize that's way easier than taking all the books off, going one book at a time, and then putting all the books back on. But then like you get in, I have to realize like if there's a book on my outro section that I didn't cover in my haul video because I missed it, it's like just a fun Easter egg, right? Just a
Yeah.
fun, just a fun
All for the
Easter egg.
plan.
Is there a video that you're really proud of, like besides a haul? Like, what's your favorite kind of video to make? Like, do you prefer talking about reviews? Do you like reading lists, or where to start? Like, what's your favorite kind of video to make?
My favorite video to make are my reviews, and that's just mainly because there's like essential sense of like individuality to it, like my thoughts, my opinions on a story that we've all read, type of thing. So I always liked that aspect. But as far as the videos that I'm the most proud of, it more recently was the X Factor review. I really thought I did pretty good on that. I was happy with the finished product.
And
And then
that's hard because when you're an editor and a creator, if you're anything like me, you notice all of your flaws. And if I were to watch, say, one of your videos, I'd be like, wow, this is a great video. Like, I look at everybody else's content way kinder than I ever look at my own content, you know?
yeah,
So if you can create something where you're like, that was good, that's hard to do because it can get hard to look at your own content kindly because you're so close to it. You're watching it like this far away.
Yeah. And there's times where I'll watch it and I'll flub on a word or a name or something like that, and I like go out of my way to like pin a comment apologizing for it, where it's like probably nobody else caught it except for
Yeah.
another viewer named Supreme Power. He's pretty good on, which I like it because it just like tightens my craft and my knowledge and everything like that. But he will call out anything I get wrong, and I'm like, oh god damn it.
I have a fan like that. His name's Bunk.
Yeah, in my haul, I mentioned Ram V, and I accidentally said he wrote "I am Batman" instead of Detective Comics. It's pretty
Oh
funny.
yeah.
Did you misspeak? Well, I was like, you got me.
Or the narrative we can push is, you know, that if you make a mistake, he'll comment on it, so you sneak a mistake in for that engagement.
Or maybe I'm already doing that.
Yep, exactly. Collecting is a marathon, not a sprint. Think about all the books that are being, yes, true. I think it was, what really got me out of it was when I started reading Marvel this year. I didn't realize Marvel got reprinted way more than DC. So I had like in a row, like 4 books I paid out of print prices on that got reprinted. So
yeah, Marvel's great with that stuff. So good.
Ronin is early Frank Miller and great. Highly suggest reading it even without the absolute format. Scarlet isn't even a complete book. Bendis removed his stuff over to Dark Horse for the second volume, never came out. Oh my god, we're way back. Let's jump ahead.
Yep.
Tyler, you know I hold you and your comic taste in high regard. Jake, when are we going to get League of Extraordinary Gentlemen? The Jubilee edition covers all of Moore's DC work. So I want to read some of the other series by Moore. The one that I've been curious about, if I could get a good deal on absolute top 10, I think I would do it. I don't know anything about it. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen seems a touch silly to me, but I bet I would read it and love it. But I have no experience with it. But Alan Moore makes some amazing books. I just reread for the first time like in years, for a video I'm doing for later this month. I read Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow, and I read that, and then the one I love is For the Man Who Has Everything, where Superman has like that flower on. Have you read that one?
Yeah, that's my favorite Superman story.
That's your favorite one?
Yeah.
That's a little sneak peek for all y'all. My next video is top 10 Superman stories, and I realized anytime I got to sneak a book on there that wasn't an origin story or a story of him dying was a nice treat.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because I feel like every quintessential Superman story is his origin. I know, but I'm sick. Remember, we just talked about how I'm sick. It's the same thing with Wildcats.
Yeah, I want to like compendiums so bad, but
do you have any? I have a couple.
No.
I have, so the one that I actually really like, and at the time it was all I could afford and it was the easiest thing to do. I got the Sweet Tooth compendium, and that was awesome. I really enjoyed reading all of Sweet Tooth in one book. And I also don't feel like I need to reread Sweet Tooth, so I don't need to upgrade to something better. But now I kind of get compendiums for things that aren't released in other formats. Like I have Starman, which I started but I haven't finished, and then I got the one where Superman looks like a beefcake on the cover, War World.
Oh yeah.
But then I read you need to read Superman and the Authority first, and I don't own that. So
yeah, War World's good. I haven't read this Starman, but Omar really likes that, right?
he loves that. So I think it was our 10th episode back when we were just like a video podcast where we got to do an interview with Omar. I reached out to him. Like I knew nobody in the online comics community. I was so silly. I didn't even title the video as Interview with Near Mint Condition. I just titled it The Brave and the Boys Podcast Episode 10. So like,
yeah, no text on that one.
Right? The things you learn looking back, right?
I've learned a lot, but I'm still learning. I mean,
that's a good question. Help me out. What are some things you've learned? Like, I want to know what you've learned, because I feel like that's the thing that we'll do. We'll help each other out. Like, we'll give each other tips and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, just technology. I mean, they didn't see it, but me struggling with the computer before we even got onto the live stream. I mean, I don't work with computers. I don't touch computers other than filming. And before like a year and a half ago, I never touched computers at all since high school. So all this is super foreign, and I'm trying to learn and expand and do new stuff. But it's such a huge world. I mean, it's very daunting, to be honest.
It is cool because like what I love is that like because we started at the same time, I'll always think of you as like a good peer that I can like watch your quality get better. And one thing that I showed my wife on we do a lot of YouTube on the TV, but I was like proud as a friend. I was like, look at his last 4 thumbnails. Like look at how much they've been improving. Like I feel like your thumbnail game has gotten better like over the past few months. Like and so just as a friend, like your thumbnails are getting better and that's so important. What do you Photoshop, Canva? Like what do you
Well,
do?
a lot, if not primarily all of that, can go to my wife. She helps and even does a lot of the thumbnails just because I don't have that design eye. So she'll fully just jump in and be like,
I get it. So she'll like make the thumbnail and you go, it needs more lightning.
kind of, yeah. I mean, that's usually my input is I'm like, I need more lightning or that image needs to
Yeah.
be bigger. So it's like a collaborative process that we do as like a couple. She loves it. Like it's just our like thing, but I've had very little input because I just don't have that mind, that muscle in my brain.
So I recently, it was the longest transition in the world, but I got hired on as kind of an entry level intern-esque role at my company. And then I showed them that I'm definitely way more advanced than an intern, and I got moved up pretty quickly. But they found out I have a knack for social media and internet stuff and building an audience and building a brand, all stuff I've primarily learned through the YouTube channel.
Mhm.
And they officially, as of the first of this month, made me the social media manager. So I work
Oh,
remote now most days, unless I have to go in to film content. So I film like shorts and TikToks, and it doesn't seem like a real job, man. I feel like I'm scamming them. I don't know how to like explain it, but like I think I've been overworked for so long, that like I'm not used to like having a regular job, you know?
well, congratulations on that first,
Thank
and
you.
definitely take advantage of that because that I get so jealous of people that work remote. I'm like, oh, but then I'm like, I don't know if I could handle it. Like I would end up like making a sandwich in the middle of my job or something like
Okay,
that.
so there's two things off that. One, when I feel like I feel like you should say your job because when you work an office job, you like there are times you're just wasting the clock without meaning to. You're like, oh, I'm gonna go get some coffee, and then you talk to the lady in accounting, and then you realize you've wasted 20 minutes. So allowing myself to not be glued to my keyboard for 8 hours a day is hard because I was almost not allowing myself to get up and make a sandwich. Like, but I'm allowed a lunch break, you know. But it's like I was so scared of them thinking I wasn't working that I was overworking. The other thing though is it's nice to have a reason to put pants on. I went to the office on Friday, which was my first time in 3 weeks, and I realized that I was lonely because,
Wait,
like,
are you wearing pants right now, Jake?
I am.
Okay.
I'm also wearing my Illuminerdy t-shirt.
I did see that. Thank you.
I thought it'd be really cute if we wore each other's t-shirts, but I didn't want to ask, so I
Yeah,
just figured if it
yours
happened
is packed.
organically.
Yours is
Yeah.
packed, so I can't wear yours.
Oh, the legendary move.
Yeah, yeah, the legendary.
Yeah. Oh, what's your job?
So
You have like a manly job, right? Like your job is actually like salt of the earth and like benefit society.
I guess, yeah, I'm a mechanic.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the hard part for me is like sometimes my hands are so, which you can actually see in some of my reviews, like I'm wearing like band-aids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, but just my hands hurt 24/7, so it's hard sometimes, but I'm used to it and I'm not complaining, but it definitely sucks big time.
But there's some value to it. Like I just was told that it was gonna cost like 600-700 bucks for me to get my back shocks replaced. So I texted the guy who like the car nut at my job and I was like, hey man, is this a good price? He's like, give me 100 bucks and some beer and I'll do it. And like that's sick, you know? Like I can't do that. I can't
Yeah,
just
I can work on cars, but I guess I should be a little bit more specific. I'm a generator mechanic, so
okay.
a generator is still an engine, but I like going to like government buildings and stuff like that have like a backup generator, and I repair and fix and service and everything like that.
So I think that's cool because like I would imagine that okay, I don't know how to word okay, the best way to word this is for me. When I started doing creative social media stuff for work, I realized that I was doing the YouTube channel primarily because I needed a creative outlet. And then when I was being creative on my job, it was harder because I feel like creativity is like a finite well. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's a necessity, but it's a well. And I was having to like, I realized that I'm going to make less YouTube content for myself because I have to create content for my job now. But that's probably got to be nice that like you get it, like you have an outlet to be creative on at home, you know?
Yeah, because I've always been into like creative stuff. Before I was a mechanic, I wanted to be a art major and actually illustrate comics, but that didn't happen and is never going to happen. But we have a really good school here in Maryland called Micah. I don't know if anybody's heard of it, but I was going to attend there, but that didn't
We're
happen.
actually, that's our sponsor, Micah. If you're buying 1 or 2 college degrees on generating mechanics.
Yeah, that was the plan, but money was a issue big time when I was younger, so that didn't happen.
I feel like we missed out on getting to hang out because I waited by Third Eye Comics thinking you were going to surprise me and show up when I was in Maryland.
Yeah, no, I'm not there that often since I don't do singles anymore.
Yeah. It was a really cool looking shop though.
Oh yeah, that's best comic book store I've ever been to, and that's not like a plug. But
Yeah. That's actually our other sponsor. If you're buying 1 or 3 single issues, go to Third Eye. Let's say to some of our friends though, we have the world famous comic book report, always a party with Bunk.
Everybody's here for Bunk. They're not here for us.
I know I like my Bunk live streams just break the records for like my views. People love Bunk, dude.
Yeah, he's awesome.
YouTube rule number, I'm not gonna read that number. Never skip leg day. That's an amazing job. I think they're talking to you. Being a generator mechanic, have you come across clients who are also comic book nerds?
No. There was one guy that had a comic book, but he was a politician, and it was a Spider-Man issue. I don't know the number that had Obama on it, and that's the only reason he had it.
Wait, was it Obama?
No, it was like,
oh,
somebody can put.
It would have been cool if it was Obama and you were fixing his generator and he had a comic book with himself in it. That would have been sick.
The coolest place I've been to was Bill Clinton's house. That was the coolest place I've been to.
So you have been to a president's house? That's
Yeah.
crazy. Let's see. Chris. Jake, big fan of the show. Oh, thank you. I saw your Star Wars Omnis video and wanted to ask if you'd read any of the Star Wars novels. I got a bit burnt out by comics lately and have been absolutely loving them. So recently I have read the first, like, so with Star Wars High Republic, they have a whole like multimedia, like chronologically timeline of like, you read this adult book and then these 2 comic books and then you watch this like animated book for kids, you know? So it's like a weird like whole universe that they're creating. I read the first of the Star Wars novels, thought it was fantastic, and then I read the High Republic comic book and like didn't like it very much, which was crazy to me because I thought I would have liked it, you know. Did you read the High Republic at all?
I've read the comic book stuff, but I haven't read. I don't do novels or anything.
Yeah.
I've also read the manga too. There's a manga.
There's a manga?
Yeah. Yep.
That's sick. I'm trying to think. I don't think the only manga I've really read is I watched the live action One Piece in Hawaii on my wedding, and I got really into it. And then I read all of the first saga on the plane ride home.
Well, you're starting off big. One Piece is
and
big.
Then I think I was like, you know, that's enough One Piece for me. But I like color, man. Even Usagi gets a little hard for me. Like, do you prefer color? Like, if you could get a Berserk in color, would you? Or do you like the black and white?
I don't know. I think there's pluses and minuses to both. Like, sometimes I feel like when the color is stripped, like, you get that, like, all the way down to, like, molecular level when it comes to the detail and the cross hatching and the line work and everything like that, because there's just no color to muddy that. But something about like a interesting color palette, like for example Paper Girls, where you can tell what time period you're in because of the color palette being used, like stuff like that is so ambitious. So I like that, but I definitely like the detail of black and white, so I can go either way.
I was just reading another book that Bunk recommended to me, Superman Red and Blue, and it's nice when it's I like it when they use like only a couple colors for like dramatic effect, and that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
If you feel like Illuminerdy can still develop comics someday, raise them up. There we go. I'll raise my hand too.
No, I cannot draw anymore at all.
Hey Bunk, I'm cool and relaxing now that I have the weekends off. Okay, also, we should probably say, because people were asking other live streams that aren't affiliated with the Brave and the Boys, me and Jordan are friends. There's no beef. We wanted to make a second channel because we wanted to try making different styles of videos. And like if I watch a movie and I want to review the movie, the YouTube algorithm would not make that video do well, you know? Because like you have to really niche down. Love Jordan, still doing live streams with Jordan. We might even do one tomorrow. We're good people.
Yeah, you're really understanding of that, of like YouTube algorithm and stuff like that, which
yeah,
pretty admirable. I know nothing about it.
So I went to school to be a marketing major, and I realized pretty quickly on that what I was learning in school already seemed outdated because the online world moves so quickly. Like one of my textbooks was like, Twitter might be the best place for advertising, and now it's called X, and you do not want to advertise there, you know?
Yeah.
And I learned so much practical knowledge doing the YouTube channel because to me, it was a microcosm of building a brand. So like we have a pretty big YouTube channel for my job. I think we're like 35,000 subscribers,
Wow.
about a million views in the high-end audio sphere. And now part of my job is literally like, people are like, what do you think of this title? And I'm able to pull things that I had learned from the YouTube channel. Like the other day, they had like this really funky pair of headphones they did a review on, and they titled it Medieval Torture Device or Best Headphones Ever. And I was like, you do not want to put torture in the video, just video title, quick change it. And like it really is cool that I actually learned applicable skills on my own. And like, I'll talk to but also like you can get lost in it. Like you can get lost in the stats. Like Omnidog doesn't even have YouTube Studio on his phone. He couldn't tell you like what his impressions or his views are because he doesn't care. But to me, I like seeing like 7% of the people that saw my video clicked on my thumbnail when I did this thumbnail. When I had my old shitty thumbnails, only 2% of the people who saw my video clicked on it, you know? Yeah. So there is like, it can tell you what's working, and I do use it for my actual job, but I'm trying to learn how not to be addicted to it. Because there was a time before bed, the last thing I did was check my YouTube Studio analytics, and the first thing I did when I wake up, and that's not healthy, you know?
Yeah, I think when I first started, I was like that, but then there came a time where it was just like, it was too much stress, so I just kind of backed away. But I still have Studio because it keeps the comments right there on the dashboard, and it's just easier to reply. But I wish I had like that brain like yours where I enjoy the science behind the what gets clicks, what doesn't get clicks, and what words you can or can't use or stuff like that.
I would say though that at the end of the day, all the tips and tricks can like help you make an informed decision, but the algorithm, anytime you use the word algorithm, I think you can use the word audience, and the audience will watch what has effort, passion, and love behind it and quality. So like there's a really good correlation between the effort you put into something and how it responds, and like just make a video you're stoked with and hopefully it does well, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree on that for sure.
Oh, this is nice. I have to say Tyler's delivery has gotten a lot more concise in the past few months too. A lot less as wells. Ooh, that's a good question. So I'm to the point now where after my three top 10 videos for December, I realized that I overuse like specific adjectives. So if I use one of those adjectives now, Jordan or my wife, if they're watching, will go, nope, new word. And I'll have to redo the take with a different adjective because like I'll say 6 books in a row are incredible. Or I think because I have absolutes on the mind, I always say, I absolutely love this book. Like I always say incredible and absolutely.
Yeah, I wish I had like bigger words, but I feel like you said, I watch it with a microscope, my content.
Yeah.
I feel like it does always come down to me just saying, I like book. Book is good, and me think it's good. And that's like my entire review. I wish I had larger words that I could apply to good or like or whatever. But again, it doesn't work that way, but I'm trying.
Bunk is my arch nemesis. He usurped me from my lobster throne.
What the heck is going on in there?
There's a whole lobster thing. High Republic is a big focal point in the second Jedi Survivor game. I like the first one, but I can't play video games anymore. I don't know what happened. I can read comics is the only form of solo media I consume, and TV I only consume in a social aspect with my wife, like the two of us watching a show together. I don't ever watch TV alone. But I'll download. I'll buy a video game. I'll download it. I'll update it. I'll play 10 minutes and go, I'm wasting my life. Like, I don't know.
Were you
can't
big into it before?
Huge. I was huge into video. I had a gaming PC at one point, and like I would like be that guy that would put mods in his Skyrim that would turn off fast travel, and like you'd have to eat and sleep and be warm, and I would just inventory manage, so
yeah.
I bought an adapter. I might never use it, but that lets me stream video games. So me and Jess are gonna me and Omnidog are gonna try to do a video game live stream next week.
Does he play?
No, that's what's gonna be fun. Okay, I was at his house when I was visiting him, and he has the vinyl record to my favorite video game called Stardew Valley, and I don't even think he knew Stardew Valley was a video game. It's like this 8-bit farming game where you build a farm together.
I played Stardew. I love Stardew.
Okay, hell yeah. So Stardew's like $10. So I bought Jess a copy of Stardew, and we're gonna do a Stardew Valley stream. And like, I don't think I'm gonna be a video game streamer, but it'd be fun to get like 4 jabronis together to do a Mario Party live stream. Talk comics.
I love video games, so I would totally do
that. The game that I really want to get is Spider-Man 2, because I loved the first Spider-Man. Like Arkham's were like my favorite. The reason I didn't get it was it took me like 2 months to talk myself into getting Baldur's Gate 3, and then I only played 10 minutes. So yeah. I'm like worried that the same thing would happen, because I love Spider-Man, and I loved Miles Morales.
Yeah, I beat Spider-Man 2, and I'm playing through Baldur's Gate currently right now.
What do you play on?
Xbox, but I have all the systems, but Xbox.
I was gonna say we could do a Baldur's Gate live stream, comic live stream.
I don't know if does that have crossplay. I don't know. I have no clue, but I'm playing it with a friend doing co-op. It's pretty fun. It's pretty raunchy sometimes.
Okay, people want to know, which penis type did you choose, 1 or 2?
2.
I knew it.
Yeah. And unclothed. I chose that one instead of clothed.
I'm definitely recommend more of the Legends material for I can't wait for James to clip that part talking about which penis type you chose. It's a lot more plot driven than the current books because they're afraid of interfering. That's true.
Yeah.
Keep reading One Piece. You won't regret it. So I skipped ahead. So I watched all of East Blue, read all of East Blue, and then I watched the next couple arcs. And then I skipped all the way ahead to a Marineford, and it was like the coolest thing I'd ever seen. But my thing is, I want to watch One Piece, but my wife doesn't like subtitles, so or different language. She makes us watch English shows with subtitles, but she doesn't want to watch foreign shows with subtitles. Like,
yeah, I mean, I want to say Netflix has a good dub for One Piece. I think they're updating it too currently.
But what was cool about One Piece is they cut out the filler. So it's
it's Dragon Ball Z Kai or whatever.
Yeah. So like, say he punches someone and then it spends 30 seconds reverberating the punch. They cut that down to like 5 seconds or something, but it's not in English. But like, I think it cuts down your time of watching One Piece in half, you know? Because like when I was noticing when I was watching, and maybe all animes like this, or maybe just like One Piece, but like I would watch an episode and then you would watch the next episode and they would have the same 10 minutes start the new episode that ended the last one. And then so there'd be an intro. There'd be like what you missed, an intro, the 10 minutes you just saw. So you're fast forwarding like half the episode. Like I feel like.
Well, you gotta think when those first aired, it was like on Toonami and stuff, and sometimes there was a week apart from each episode.
Yeah.
So you probably had no clue, like when it was first aired, no clue what just happened. So you always need that refresher. But it is annoying now with streaming because it's like I already know. Get this out.
This is my 60th episode of One Piece today. Like I don't need to.
I know who Luffy is. Leave me alone.
If you could write a comic character, who would you want to write? I feel like I don't want to say I don't want to say Batman because I feel like as much as I love Batman, there's too much there'd be too much editorial interface, you know? Like anytime someone tries to do something different with Batman, I feel like the fans hate it or the editors hate it. Daredevil might be a funner way to do Batman without having as much interference, you know?
I mean, Daredevil has a pretty strict fan base too. I mean, it's not Batman level, but if you do something wrong with Daredevil, you're gonna feel the wrath. That
is true. So give me someone, maybe Green Arrow.
Green Arrow, yeah, that would be good. I would choose Cap, but I think everyone's end goal when they're in the comic book industry is to write Batman because that means you've made it at that point. But I would just want to stay away from Batman. That just seems toxic, like you said, just too much.
Or like it'd be fun to do kind of what Tinian did with Rise and Fall of the Batman, where it was a Bat family book and he could do whatever he wanted because it wasn't necessarily Batman. And like that was like he was given all the keys to the kingdom, all the toys, and he got to just play, you know?
Yeah,
like
turned it into a team book.
Yeah.
Book, yeah.
What is it? So I know Captain America is that your favorite Marvel hero? Is Batman your favorite DC?
No, I actually am not. I don't hate Batman, but I try to stay away from Batman because I feel like he's super oversaturated.
Yeah.
But my favorite DC is Superman or Superboy. I can go either way there. And then Connor Kent, Superboy.
Nice. Okay, I was thinking like Superboy Prime. That's controversial.
Yeah, no. Connor Kent, Superboy was the Superboy I kind of grew up with, and during the Jeff Johns run, Young Justice, all that stuff.
Ooh, so I just bought that Omni.
Yeah, great stuff.
I've never read any of it.
Yeah, really good.
So do you have a definitive Superman origin story?
We kind of talked about that in the chat. I'd probably say,
because I think I only gave you two options, but if I give you every Superman origin story book out there, like, do you have a go-to?
My favorite origin is actually not even a story, and it's mainly because it's super palatable, and that's Superman Batman, the first like 2 pages, where it breaks down the Superman's origin and Batman's origin almost side by side, panel for panel. And I think it's so creative, so fresh, so quick, gets to the point. I absolutely love that run, and I love that origin pages.
You're selling me. I've never opened this book.
Beautiful. Love it. And then you flip again, and you see, like, Superman entering orbit. He's, like, getting all upset. Yeah.
Dude, this is sick.
Yeah, that's my favorite origin.
I like, I think All-Star Superman is great because it's 1 page. This one you get like 2 heroes though, so it one-ups that.
Well, for me, it's like the emotion in it, like with baby Superman like gripping his hands, and then you see baby Bruce like putting up his hands as his parents are shot. Like it's just so emotional, and it's 2-3 pages. It's crazy.
Trying to think. All-Star Superman is cool because it's only 1 page. Because a lot of these are beats that we've hit before, and that's what was making that's why I'm having trouble or motivation to edit this video. Is it's hard to talk about like 6 Superman origin stories in a row because like everything just starts blending together, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
I think it's overdone at this point. Like they should just not touch on it anymore. No more origin stories.
yeah. Um, see, Sin City wouldn't work in color. Hashtag Team Jordan. We're hashtag Team both of us. We're friends. Jordan, if there's beef and Jake kidnapped your channel, blink twice. Hey, yo, Labruski. Uh, Labruski is my new one of my new fan best friends, viewer best friend. So he's a little newer to comics. He just joined the Discord, and he's fantastic. He's a really cool dude.
Welcome
Um,
to Brewski.
how long until the Brave and the Boys overtakes Jake's work YouTube channel?
That might be the play there.
Right? For other Illuma Tyler, I probably missed this already, but what got you into comics?
So my brother was really into comics when I was younger, and I had trouble reading, and he kind of brought me into comics so I could practice reading with like funny pictures and fight scenes and stuff like that.
Does Spawn was you learned how to read? You said Spawn was one of your first ones, right? I can just imagine. It was before that, though, right? Like Spawn was later, right? You didn't learn how to read from Spawn, right?
A lot of early comic book or comic book collecting and reading was me just looking at the pretty pictures.
Yeah.
So like even for example that Ultimates issue, which is 4 or whatever issue it is, why I love that issue is because the entire issue from cover to cover is just the Ultimates fighting Hulk, and there's barely any dialogue. They're not talking. They're just beating the crap out of each other, and that's why I loved that issue when I was a kid.
That probably had to make seeing the live action Avengers movie so special because I feel like they pulled a lot from the the Ultimates universe. Because for me, like I had never read any Marvel comics really before I went into the Avengers movies. Ooh, this is good advice. If you wear a V-neck in every thumbnail, you'll get 90% clicks.
Not me in a V-neck. I don't know about that.
Real question: how much do we think Omar is clearing monthly from YouTube? I don't know how to answer that, but I would answer that do you think he makes more from YouTube or Patreon?
I'd probably say YouTube at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume, but
yeah.
But that's been a fascinating thing to kind of watch through the years too. Is just like almost like cheering him as a nerd, like in the background while he's making it to these high heights and stuff like that. Like it's just so cool to see one of us make it and visit Marvel and have a relationship with Marvel, and it's like wow.
True. Like he did another interview with Chris Claremont not too long ago, and like that's just like he gets to talk to like the creator of like the books that taught him how to read.
Yeah,
so,
I'm pretty soft spoken. Like I've had the chance to meet a lot of creators, not by interviewing them, but at like cons and stuff like that, and I just can't. I'm just like hi, and I like walk away.
The one person I asked was Sam De La Rosa, who was like the artist on Lethal Protector or like the OG Venom stuff. And I was like, hey man, like I'm like a YouTuber. It would be great to like get to talk to you or ask you a couple questions. And he goes, maybe at the end of the con, I can give you 2 minutes. And I was like, have a great day. It was really nice meeting you. Sign this. Thank you. But like, maybe I should have done the 2-minute interview, but like if he had said, come back, I'll give you 2 minutes, I would have done it. Cause maybe he would have given me more than 2 minutes, but the hypothetical wait around the entire day and come back and maybe I'll give you 2 minutes while I'm cleaning up, not that I ever have to like, he owes me anything, but like, I would rather him just say no, thank you than, offer me 2 minutes.
Than like the slim pickings that he gives instead.
I would love to do more. The closest I've come is, there's some comic book YouTubers, TikTokers. They're more in the like the speculator market, but Comic Tom and Fire Guy Ryan wrote a comic book called Crashdown, which is coming out soon, and they came on our show to talk about it.
Cool.
It's kind of like it was inspired by like their love of sci-fi horror, like Aliens, and Ben Templesmith does the art. So I'm excited for that to come out just because I got to have them on my show and have them talk about it. They were like. because they were telling me, they're like, oh, I mean, we're not comic. I told them, I was like, it's an honor to finally have a comic creator on the show, and they go, oh, we're not comic creators. We just created a comic, and I go, that makes you comic book creators.
Yeah. As soon as you break that that barrier, you're it.
Oh wow, we're behind. Oh, thank you for the kind words. Omar is making millions.
Nico with the hot take.
That's the problem with comic-centric omnibuses. Creator-centric omnibuses. I try to stay away from them and stick to numbered omnis. Get Bunk in and start the regular book club streams. I want to. I mean, I think we've even talked like a long time ago about how we would both love to do book clubs. Yeah. But like, I have a Discord. We could do it. Do you guys want to do a book club? I mean, I'm
open to a book club, definitely.
Yeah. We got our dear friend, Secret Origins was my childhood. That's my favorite Origins on Soup. So I feel like I need to read Secret Origins again because I read it as soon as I was done finishing Birthright. So, and I liked Birthright better, but I don't know if I liked Birthright better because I read it first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I think I need to like space it out a little bit and give Secret Origins another shot.
Yeah, Secret Origins, I feel like I can go either way, which we talked about a little bit in the group chat. I can go either way on both of them, but Secret Origins, like Day said, is like that book that I read when I was a kid. So sometimes I'll go towards it because of that, but I would say Birthright might be a more better written product, maybe.
Yeah.
I lean more that way. 9 times out of 10, but I still have a soft spot for
that art though on Secret Origins is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Is that an absolute that tempts you at all?
Yeah, I mean Gary Frank. I mean he's probably my top 5 favorite artist. Even though I can't unsee it now since Omnidog said Gary Frank is an artist that draws every tooth in somebody's head. So now I can't unsee it every time I see it. So
I gotta look at a Gary Frank thing again, but that's I don't think I've ever heard him say it. When did he say that? Was that in our chat or?
No, that was it was on Omar's stream. I forget. I've been trying to catch more live streams, but he said that, and now every time I see a Gary Frank piece, I'm like counting the teeth now, and it completely ruined it for me.
Speaking of Daredevil, Marvel finally confirmed to Omar that they're not putting the McKay issues in Zdarsky's omnibus, breaking a 20-year omnibus continuity span. So is that who's after Charles Soule and before Zdarsky?
That's the Shadowland stuff, I'm pretty sure.
I think Shadowlands has an Omni, right? I don't know. Someone in the chat tell us down below who is the McKay. I've read the Bendis Daredevil, some of the Frank Miller Daredevil, the Brubaker Daredevil, and then I just got to wait for Mark Waid to come in to read that. But what are you reading currently?
Currently is Monsters by Barry Windsor Smith and Ice Cream Man Volume 2.
Okay, so I tried buying Monsters 3 times, but every single time Amazon shipped it to me with this fat sticker on the cover. And no matter how much I tried to take that sticker off, it would just rip everything off the front of the book.
Yeah, I don't like the material the book's made of.
Yeah. That art in it though is like on a whole other level though, dude. It is so insane.
Yeah, it's probably the second book that's actually gotten me like somewhat emotional reading, just because it's dark. It's really dark.
I wonder like what it would have been like because I heard he had like based part of it off of like an Incredible Hulk storyline that Marvel wouldn't let him do. I wonder what would have changed.
Yeah, they say there's a lot of elements, like even there's some mirroring scenes when it comes to his Weapon X stuff too. So he definitely pulled a lot of ideas, but there's also people that are saying he's full blown like copying, but I don't see that at all.
Jake, the Marvel's Platinum showed up today. It's freaking huge. He just bought Marvel's Platinums from Omnidog.
Marvel's Platinum showed up today. What's Marvel's Platinum? Oh,
So the gigantic edition of Marvels.
oh yeah,
I wish I could have watched a YouTube video of Omar Omnidog walking that book to the post office.
yeah.
That's what I would have loved to see. The book club and Omnidog's Discord is successful. As long as you keep up with it, it'll be successful. So, okay, if we did the book club, would you guys want to meet in the Discord and video chat to talk about it together? Would you want us to do live streams and like be in the chat like how Omnidog does it, or would you guys like to just do it like an audio chat? Let me know down below what you guys would like, because anyone read the books of magic? I own the 3 books of magic because I'm a sucker for Sandman, but I don't know anything other than maybe Harry Potter was stolen from it.
That's all I know about it too.
I was even Omar was like, "Don't get volume 3 of Books of Magic," but my sickness kicked in. I got it for a stupid good price though. I got it for like $40, I think.
Yeah, Sandman, that entire world is like one I tried to read when I was younger, and I think you just need to be like a little bit of a mature mindset going into that, because it did not stick when I was a kid at all.
I think, yeah, I couldn't even imagine like reading that not as an adult. Have you ever tried to go back and read it again, or?
Not yet. I plan to when I do get the omnibuses. That'll be my first time diving back in.
So the Omnis are cool. I actually really like the deluxe editions of them though, because they're way more. It's the same trim size, obviously, and I think they're way easier to read. As you know, I've read a bunch of different versions of them. The Omnis, I feel like the spines make it tough, and there's like a little bit of gutter loss, but they're gorgeous, like created books. Or just go all in, man, and get the helm set, bro. Get that helm
That's
set
what
right
I
there.
was thinking about getting, but then I think it was Omar that said death isn't collected or something like that.
Death is the only one that's not in there because I think that's not a Sandman. Oh, that's like kind of like a side story. The Death or the Death Absolute. Okay, honestly, here's what I would do. This goes against my sickness. I would buy the 4. I would buy the 4 Sandman Deluxes, and then I would buy Sandman Overture and Absolute. Sandman Overture, I think, is the one Sandman where the art deserves to be in an absolute format. And I'll show you right here.
And Overture is not collected in any other format other than
It'll be in the Omni, and it'll be in the deluxe edition, and
Okay.
it's in the helmet edition also. But so Overture is a prequel that you read after the main storyline, and it has J.H. Williams art on it. So it has a lot of stuff like where it'll be like this.
Whoa.
Like that's wild, right, dude?
Yeah, that's beautiful. Wow.
Like, and I think like, not that you should go to in-stock trades. I think this book's like $45 on in-stock trades right now.
Yeah.
If you buy any of the Sandmans, dude, Sandman Overture is the one to get in the absolute. Like it has like multiple of that. So
Holy moly.
it just like, this book needs to be read in the absolute edition. Because like the standard size hardcovers have that same flipping out pages also, but it's just not to the same effect.
In the omnibuses, there flip out pages in those?
Yeah, I think so. But it's just different when it's that huge, you know.
Yeah, I'll have to think about that. That's interesting. But I have thought about the helm set. That thing's pretty cool too.
Think you've heard plenty. Good. Got to catch up with him last month when he was in town. We had a lot of fun. He's talking about his world famous dinner with Ben Templesmith.
Yeah, I talked to Bunk a lot about Ben Templesmith when I reviewed 30 Days of Night, and I didn't know Bunk was friends with the guy. Like okay, that's cool.
Hey, if anyone in my Discord, if anyone in the YouTube, if you guys are mods, can you ban people on Facebook or no? Just a little question. I got the Ben O'Reilly Omnibus Volume 1 today, and I also ordered Berserk Volume 3. I heard that's when Berserk gets good. When did you think Berserk got good?
Well, that's Berserker. That's the Keanu Reeves.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
I thought someone just fell asleep on their keyboard. Strange Adventures is a good one. I own that in the standard size, and I think I own 2 copies of the standard size hardcover because I wanted to get it signed at the convention. Speaking of conventions, are you going to Heroes Con?
So the timing of it is going to be probably during like moving in process. So I will try. I haven't bought tickets yet just because it's a little up in the air.
I got gung ho and bought 2 tickets to it, and then I realized like how expensive it's gonna be to like fly out there and rent and get and like get a place. So my wife was like, "Hey, I'm happy to go with you if you want me to. If not, like, you can go solo. That way, like, it cuts down some of the expense of the trip. But it's also like it's not like I can buy half a hotel room. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that's another like New Year's resolution is I want to go to more cons and actually be in person in the community and stuff like that way more. Because I've been to a decent amount as of recently, but that's really it.
I say we do an in-person book club and meet up in Colorado. I mean, that's basically halfway between all of us, right?
Or Bunk can pick us all up.
Right? Ben Templesmith can pick us all up.
Yeah.
Sandman is definitely for adults. One of the expanded universes I've only read of the expanded universe, I've only read Lucifer.
Yeah. I think that's the title I've probably read the most of in the Sandman universe is Lucifer.
I watched all of the TV show.
Yeah.
That's the same thing, right? They're the exact same thing.
Yeah, it's so different.
That is true. I could split a hotel room that someone else is going. He's not talking about himself because when I made a joke like, "Hey, we could split a hotel room," he goes, bye. And he stopped messaging me. Well, then let's figure out instant teleportation. That would be good.
We do need to find a time where all of us are going to a con though. Like all of the jabronis and like the usual suspects like Bunk and Day and
I think it's hard because some of us are like on such different areas of the map. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I always hate that you guys are all East Coast because I feel like I always miss out on all. I get FOMO.
Yeah, I do always forget that. Like even setting this up, I was like, "What time is it again?"
It is a little easier now that I'm not working till like because before I used to get home at like 6:00, which is like 9:00 for you guys, and that's too late to do anything. So it's a little bit easier now, and I'm having more fun. Fifth Jack, you do the Whatnot streams with OPB, right? With David. So you're basically like a spiritual jabroni. Just move out to the East Coast, cheaper than Cali. Honestly, I feel like maybe I could segue my job being fully remote, but I can't do it yet, but I'm close.
Where I'm at, it's not cheap. So I mean, I can't. I've never lived in Cali, but where I'm at, it's definitely not cheap.
It is shot and currently being edited, and it's going to be announced in my next video. So my next video, I promise, I'll have an announcement for that one, and I will start the next giveaway in my next video. So sorry I lagged. Basically, I shot all the videos you guys have seen before this one were all shot in the same day. So I banged out 4 videos in one day and then just edited slowly over a couple weeks. So it'll be
which Hellboy trade is it again?
I think Seeds of Destruction. Yeah, because in one day I did my haul video and then top 10 what I thought was top 10 indie, but I guess they weren't indie, and then top 10 DC, top 10 Marvel, and haul. So I saw all 4 of those on the same day. So I announced, so even though the haul video was first, so basically I announced a Hellboy trade paperback giveaway like the beginning of December, and then like I haven't shot a new video, or I haven't released a new video since then. Yeah.
We need to have a poll in here if Image is indie.
Yeah. Hey, comment down below. Is Image indie? And if it's not, which companies are indie?
Yeah, where does indie begin and where does indie stop?
Hey, if you want, you should come to WonderCon. I'm trying to get Dominic to come to WonderCon, but I live in the city where WonderCon happens. I have a guest room. Let's do it, man. Or maybe there's a cool Vegas con. I'm down to go to Vegas.
I'm going to WonderCon probably in DC.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they have a WonderCon there.
WonderCon is cool because like it's just for us at least because it's so casual. It's like we get free parking because it's the Disneyland parking lot.
That's cool.
How do I do a poll? I don't. James, teach me how to do these things. Yes, Image is indie. I would say if it's not Marvel or DC, it's indie.
Thank you. Thank you. I agree.
What is your most loved comic book run and what is your most disliked comic book run?
I want to hear Jake's of this because I don't know. I feel like I've kind of touched on this before, but I don't know if you have before.
I think I have like several. It's hard for me to answer because I have several favorites for different reasons. Like I could niche it really down. Like favorite Bat family is like Rise and Fall of the Batman. Tom King Batman is like my favorite single issue Batman because that's the one run I read single issue. So a lot of the Rebirth stuff I love. Sandman is probably my favorite Vertigo because that to me was so important. Honestly, one of I don't know. It's hard. That's hard for me to answer on the spot. Animal Man by Grant Morrison was one of my favorite runs for a really long time. So that Omni was really important to me. I have the single issues. I had the deluxes and then gave them away. My favorite current run would be Nightwing or World's Finest. Those are my favorite two current runs.
Yeah.
I don't really dislike very many things. I don't know if I'm simple because I often don't dislike things.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that way as a reviewer. I'm like, everything I review in the big two, I'm like, it's good. It's
yeah,
great.
Right? But would you ever do a review of a book you didn't like?
Oh, yeah. You
would?
Yeah, I mean, I like the individuality behind me disliking a book that maybe other people liked. I personally think that's a cool aspect of art in general. So I would, and it wouldn't be like a hit piece. Like I would still bring up certain aspects that some people would like and I maybe didn't like, but I would say I didn't like it. I would make that at least clear. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
There are like controversial ones, like, and I can usually find something to like Heroes in Crisis. I hate the story, but I love the art, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know if there's much that I've read and didn't like. Like sometimes I'll read something and it'll be a little too old for me. Oh, you know what? For the Omnis, I gave my worst book of the year to Dark Crisis. Did you read Dark Crisis?
Yeah.
So for me, it was that I was so excited about everything they created in the lead up to Dark Crisis. So I think Infinite Frontier is really good. I think Justice Incarnate is really good. And I read Dark Crisis and I didn't feel like I got anything from it. So I said, you know what? How about I do a video on the right reading order for Dark Crisis? I'll do a whole readathon of everything Dark Crisis, and I liked it even less. I feel like they switched the villain like 4 times.
Yeah, I feel like I have the opposite because you said it starts good, but it falls apart at the end, right? That's what you said.
Yeah.
See, I feel like
not the book. I meant like the books leading up to the Dark Crisis event were good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So for me, like Infinite Frontier was Williamson starting his time on DC, in charge of DC, and it led into Justice Incarnate, which was like almost like a spiritual sequel to Multiversity. So that's like your Captain Carrot, President Superman, that stuff. And then it ends with Dark Crisis. So those were the books that led up to it. And yeah.
How do you feel about Dark Crisis as a whole, like as an event?
I think
singular, just Dark Crisis.
I think for the first time I experienced what the term event fatigue meant.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm sure other people felt what I felt with like Final Crisis or something else, because like this was like Dark Knight's Metal, I was into it, and I liked it. That was awesome for me. Dark Knight's Metal, Death Metal were great events. Doomsday Clock was awesome. And then I guess I got so tired of just saying like, oh, after this event, everything's going to be fixed and everything's going to matter and we'll have optimism again. And I'm like, haven't we had 6 events where that was going to happen?
Yeah.
Where like everything was going to be, everything you loved is back and like everyone can be happy. And it's like, the villain was like the concept of darkness. And like, I feel like, I don't know, like they were like, oh, the villain is Pariah. Now the villain is Slade. Now the villain is, you know, like.
I do feel like post Dark Crisis, it has been more optimistic, like the tone of the books overall.
I feel like the same can be said with like Rebirth was more optimistic than New 52. And Rebirth was like, after Doomsday Clock, everything will be optimistic and hopeful. The JSA will be back. But then Gary Frank took 6 years to draw Doomsday Clock, you know?
Yeah.
And then they were like, psych, now after Death Metal, everything matters, you know? But
Rebirth was way too short lived too, though.
Yeah.
And
so much of it was good. Like I don't know of like maybe I could think about it besides like Heroes in Crisis. I can't think of what a negative book during that Rebirth time was, you know?
Yeah, I agree 100%.
But yeah, do you ever feel like you have too many books and a decision to figure out what to read? Like, I feel like I'm overwhelmed now with knowing what to read next.
Yeah. I make my wife choose, so I just go point to one, and if it's something I've read or reviewed, I go point to another, and then she'll point to another until I find a book.
So sometimes like she'll point on one and you go, no, pick again, not that one.
Yep.
Nice.
Makes it easier.
I should play that. I mean, I'm gonna do that today. I'll tell you guys how it goes. So was she always supportive of your YouTube channel? Like, does she like being in your videos? Like when she's like, who's this character? And you explain like Mr. Fantastic or,
yeah.
Cause my wife's not the biggest fan of being in my videos, but occasionally she'll toss me a bone and be in one of my videos.
Yeah. She likes the photography or the filming aspect of it. So she like will sometimes be like, oh, that's a good angle or something, like when we watch my video or something. But she doesn't read or anything along those lines. So other than the filming aspect, she doesn't really dive too deep into that world of wanting to know about Superman or Batman or anything like that.
I was able to get my wife into comics a tiny bit this year, which was awesome for me. So my entryway for my wife was she loves horror movies. So I was like, you don't have to read about Batman and Superman. Like, let's just skip over all of that. And like, I got her some horror comics and she fell in love with them. So yeah. I think like what kind of movies does your wife like? Have you ever tried to find a comic that she'd be into?
She's read Saga.
Nice.
That's the only thing she's read. She's really big into novels. She likes fantasy and mysteries. But I think it's just more, I don't know, it's the imagining, this guy with heat vision that can fly faster than the speed of light. It's just, I think it's a little too far-fetched for her as a whole when it comes to the picture.
And hey, that's why there's so many kinds of books out there. Books that you can read everything or books that you can look at the pictures.
Yeah. Especially in the indie, which includes Image.
So in I don't know about, so do Image, do they own the creator? Do the creators own the character 100% or do they split it like 50-50?
I'm pretty sure it's 100% creator owned. I want to say, not an official quote there either, but
for me, if I didn't like a story, it's not worth making a video about it. I'd rather spend that time and energy talking about books that I do like. I think I've talked about that with you guys before. Like, there are some YouTubers, and maybe it's easier for single editions, who will read something new and go, oh, I hate it. Marvel, go woke, get broke, or whatever. Like, for me, it takes a lot of time to create a video, like, and then to edit it. And I don't think I could ever go through with that to talk about something that I didn't like,
Yeah, I will talk about, I guess the only time you hear that I didn't like it is my rating at the end of the video, but I don't dive into, this, I think there's a tasteful way of doing it, talking about the medium that you love, but also talking about a story that didn't perform great for you as a reader, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Where you're talking about the highlights and things you found interesting or that you found ambitious, but then also saying, if you like these things, it's for you, but it's not exactly for me. I think that's like a tasteful way to wrap it in a package, I guess.
So besides Ice Cream Man, what were some books that you read that or storylines that you weren't a fan of? And again, we've talked about how for me and you, we like a lot of things. We like most of the big two at least. What were some
Yeah.
books that maybe you weren't a fan of?
Marvel Zombies, both of those omnibuses were pretty low for me.
I'm
And
so
I'm
glad
known as the
I
zombie
just gave
guy.
the second one to Jordan. Like he paid me for it, but like I got it and all the jabronis were like, it sucks. And I'm like, okay, Jordan, you want it?
Yeah, I'm known as like a zombie guy. I love zombies, but those as a story and as a finished product, it's nowhere near other omnibuses. I can't like say, oh, this is great, read it. No.
Yeah. I only read a little bit of it, but I can't wait for a deceased omnibus someday.
Oh, Deceased is great, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd finish that this year. That was great.
Dark Crisis is generally mid, 5 out of 10. The art gives it the most merit. Yeah, the
It's
art was
Ultimate
cool.
That's
what
Ultimate Power. That's the guy that always corrects me and gives me critiques, which I appreciate. Ultimate Power.
I
So,
actually, yeah, he needs to be on the show. So please correct only Tyler with mistakes. So let me say that like Batman was solely created by Bob Kane, and don't correct me and say don't mention Bill Finger, but just correct Tyler on like really minute mistakes.
Yeah, actually, please do that. I enjoy it.
What is your favorite indie comic?
I'm kind of new to indies. I mean, I feel like you are too, somewhat,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You've mainly been in the big two as far as reading.
I was mainly in the big one for me. What really got me into Marvel was that DC's collected editions department was kind of up in the air for a year. And I told my wife, I was like, I don't know if there's going to be an Omni coming out this year. And she goes,
What year was that? That was scary. What was that, like 2021 or something?
I think it was 2021. And she goes, oh, good. So like you'll save lots of money this year. And I go, no, I don't think I will. And then I added that Marvel shelf right there.
Watch this.
Yeah. My favorite indie comic book read of last year was Murder Falcon. Do a Powerbomb is also great, and I really liked 8 Billion Genies. Have you read any of those books?
Yes, I've read pretty much everything by Daniel Warren Johnson. He's probably one of my favorite creators right now. And then 8 Billion Genies also. But I'm going to cop out and say my favorite is Invincible.
Oh, nice.
Lowbrow as that is, but that was my first, and that was like that blew me away. I loved Invincible.
I feel like Invincible I need to reread again because for me, I went through like a bad breakup a few years back, and I binged in a matter of a few days all of Invincible, like nonstop basically to get like past this breakup. And Invincible is just a blur to me now. I'll watch the TV show and be like, oh, I remember that. And it's like getting to re-experience it. But I tried doing an overview of Invincible Compendium 2 without rereading it. And I was like, who's that guy? Who's that guy? Like, it was like, that was like, I don't know if I blacked out or if I was like drunk or something. I do not remember Invincible other than it having the best ending of like, that ending healed me after Game of Thrones hurt me.
Yeah.
Invincible has the most satisfying conclusion of like any saga I've ever read.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Invincible War to the end of the Vulturemite War, that entire series of issues is like top notch. It doesn't get any better than that for me. That was just incredible.
It is really good stuff. I thought you were gonna say you said you're a zombies guy, so why did I think you were gonna say Walking Dead or something, which I've actually never read any of. Um,
Oh, you gotta read Walking Dead. Come
I
on,
have this thing where when Jordan truly loves a book with the bottom of his heart, I don't want to read it.
like a true good friend.
Yeah, like he has begged me to start Hellboy. So I said, you know what? I'll get the monster size. I got the monster size. I don't know if that book is ever going to be opened.
Oh boy, is pretty good. Walking Dead is. I think it gets overhyped a lot, but I don't know.
Oh, wait, we need ultimate power to correct him and say there's no Jordan beef.
Get them. I mean, do you like darker stories like that, like
So
Walking Dead?
I skew like okay, so I can't do Attack on Titans. I tried, it was too dark for me, and I watched up until when the main character gets eaten by a Titan.
Which is
Now,
season one, right?
now apparently that's like when the show gets good, he comes back as a giant, no spoiler, sorry, Titans or whatever. I stopped at the worst time, but I was like, I've been trying to get connected to a character in this dark ass show. I finally get connected to a character, and he gets fucking eaten like 10 episodes in. I was done.
Yeah, it does get better after that, but if it's not your thing, then that's fine too. Not to
Okay.
sound like Jordan there. I didn't mean to say.
Wait, no, hit me with it. Say, you're not gonna get. It's not for
It might
you.
not be. It really
Yeah.
might not be. Same
Like-
with Walking Dead, though. That's the same thing. You get connected to characters, and then they're taken away from you. So
Like I don't like I like storylines like Nightwing and World's Finest because they're optimistic, they're fun. I want to feel like for my main characters, my main heroes, I want to feel like I'm a little kid again eating sugary cereal, watching a Saturday morning cartoon. I'm okay with the occasional deep introspective look onto something, but like I'm so over what if Superman was evil, like
yeah.
or like I don't know, like I tried to do the Authority and they were just all jerks, like
Are you more of a like escapist reader, or
I think I am. Like for me, I like the hobby of collecting as one hobby, and then reading is like escapism for me. It's like I just want it to be fun, and I want I like I like some stuff that has but for me, I love the occasional one-off indie story that's like really like yeah. So like I've watched seasons 1 and 4 of the TV show. I don't think I need a bunch of compendiums of the boys. Like when something's trying to be dark and edgy, I think it comes off like when something's naturally dark and edgy. That's one thing, but like I'm so over like what if they were superheroes but they suck? It's like
yeah,
if I wanted to see people that suck, I just go outside.
yeah. Well, I think there's some merit there too. Like I feel like people that read for escapism kind of get shit on a lot, but
Yeah.
there's also it's kind of annoying when people read something like The Boys and they're like, "Oh, this guy is a his real meaning is this and this and
Yeah.
this, and that has to do with today's society, and everything is like this huge like big brain concept." And it's like I just want to
Yeah.
have some fun right now. Just
Like-
calm down.
To be clear, I'm okay with things being progressive or things having political meaning, but I don't want my comics to beat me down emotionally. Life does that enough for me,
Yeah, yeah. I think we've talked about that before too, like comics and politics and stuff, and how
Yeah.
they've always like politics have always been in comics, but there's definitely like there's a tasteful way of doing it too, where it's
Yeah.
like not bumming me down because now I'm in reality again, and it's like making me do a tailspin in life, remembering how bad everything is,
Yeah. We got a couple questions. What's the best way to collect Invincible or the more affordable way? I think the easiest way would probably be the soft cover compendiums. I think, yeah, that's a really easy way. I think if they're still in print and accessible to get, spring a little bit extra for the hardcovers. I would love the library editions, but they're not fully collected yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Ultimate collections are evergreen.
Yeah.
But the compendiums are the most affordable.
And what's the ultimate? They're like you need like 12 of them or something, right? Like it's a pretty large amount, right?
Yeah, 12. Yep, they're right over there.
Wow, I
There's
do.
12.
I was hoping I was hoping that our friend was gonna comment down below ultimate power and go. Actually, there's 11. Wait, can the rest of the show? Can you just as a joke correct us? But we're actually correct, like just to be funny. Just can you gaslight us, please?
You idiots.
Are you happy with your ultimate collections, or would you ever exchange them for something if you could?
I'm happy with them. They're oversized.
Yeah.
They're hardcovers, so I like them.
Yeah. If you had to pick between the two options, would you get the Infinite Crisis Omnibus and Final Crisis Omnibus, or the 3 Batman No Man's Land? I would get the Infinite Crisis Omnibus, and then I think Final Crisis Absolute is coming back this year. I think a better storyline would be getting the 7 Soldiers Omni and the Final Crisis Absolute. The Final Crisis Omni, in my mind, has a lot of unnecessary tie-ins. Like all that countdown to Final Crisis stuff doesn't add anything to the story, and I think actually makes the story worse. I own the Final Crisis Omnibus. I'll never get rid of it, but I also wouldn't buy it now, you know. But like, I haven't read any of the Batman's No Man Land stuff. I don't know how evergreen it is. I want to own all of post-Crisis Batman someday. So that's also a good option, but I haven't read any of the No Man's Land stuff.
It's good, but Infinite Crisis
Yeah.
will always take the cake.
That's the... Oh, you know, what about him? What if he gets Infinite Crisis Omnibus and the 52 Omnibus?
That's a better pick.
That's a better pick, right?
Yeah, that's the way to go right there.
And then down the line next year, get the Final Crisis Absolute, because that'll be 3D. The Omni's not 3D.
What?
Okay, so I have 2 3D comics, Final Crisis and Last Sun. Let me grab.
I didn't know Final Crisis had the 3D stuff in it. Whip it out. I feel like this is just a whole stream of you showing me absolutes and how cool they are and then trying to sell me on it.
Where are my glasses at? That's my goal, man. So if I can get you to buy 1 absolute, my job will be done. Hold on, I'm trying to find where I put the glasses. So I knew Final Crisis was 3D, but I didn't know. Here we go.
Yes.
So, not the whole book, but like there's like one storyline in here that's 3D, and I don't know if you've ever read a 3D comic book, bro, but it's low key kind of sick, actually. Have you ever read a 3D comic?
No.
It's like subtle, but it's kind of cool. I don't know what the 3D portion is.
3D stuff gives me headaches. So usually when it's like, look at this 3D issue or 3D movie, I'm like,
yeah,
nope.
It was kind of cool in. Have you read Last Sun?
Yes. Yep.
So I just read Last Sun for the first time last week, and it's the part when they go to so I don't even know where I got this book from, but I've had the standard size hardcover on my bookshelf for like a decade. And I have never read it, never opened it up, and 3D glasses fall out, and the part when they get sucked into the Phantom Zone and they're fighting in the Phantom Zone, it's called Phantom Vision, and it's 3D, and it's low-key, I low-key, like, absolutely loved it, because it was, like, purposeful to the story, you know?
Yeah, I think I had that issue, but I definitely did not read it, just because I had the headaches.
Back to what we were saying, Infinite Crisis is the best DC event omnibus. It's the most collected. It's the most essential. I mean, like everything collected in it builds to the story. It has an amazing flow, and you can follow that up with 52, which kind of fits chronologically in between. Actually, James, link my DC Crisis omnibus in every order, or every DC Crisis omnibus in order video, But I would read 52 after Infinite Crisis, and that right there would be a phenomenal reading experience.
Yes, I second it.
Approved. And you can get those books at our sponsor, Organic Price Books. There, if you're buying 1 or 3 books, you can save $2. I like how he changed it to without telling any of us. So I feel like we all had videos that like were wrong, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
Let's see. Invincible, I'm collecting the library editions. So that had to be hard because didn't they like not make any progress on those for like 6 years or something ridiculous?
Yeah, they discontinued them and now they're continuing them.
Yeah.
But they're reprinting. I think they've reprinted volume 1 so far and then volume 4. So even if you want to get into it, you have a long way to go.
Yes. And I think for me, okay, so that's a question. If you were starting over, what would you collect now? Would it be the Ultimate Editions again, or would you go?
Yeah, or the hardcover compendiums.
The second those got announced, I sold my softcover compendiums and slowly rebuilt, and like that was like a good move, I think.
Yeah, before those came out, Skybound actually put out hardcovers compendiums, and I was so close to buying them, and then I just didn't do it. But then these got announced, and I was like, "Wow, thank God I didn't," because I think those Skybound ones were like $100 or something like that.
Yeah. They were. I think they were a good in between value point for them.
Yeah.
I watched the first episode of Attack on Titans with my wife. Her reaction was, "I don't want my mom to get eaten. We don't watch anymore after that." That's why indies are great. There are stakes that the bigs two don't have. And I think that's hard. When you have like 60 years of continuity, you can shake the boat a little bit, but not a lot, you know?
Yeah, and I also somewhat disagree with that because the stakes are even higher when like the possibility of such a historic character like Batman dying is actually on the table. Then it's really feels like some crazy stakes.
Or even like death might not even be the craziest stakes because, you know, death will always get reversed. But like me and Omnidog were talking on stream the other day about how like, have you read the Tom King Batman run?
Yes, yeah.
So it would have been so interesting if the big event between him and Catwoman went through and we had a couple issues of like him, like them trying to be okay on a honeymoon. Like that would have been such a great issue, right? Like,
yeah, I watched some of your shorts. I agree. I wish that did go through personally.
Yeah.
I think it would be an interesting tone change too for the character.
If it's Invincible, there's 3 soft cover compendiums or 3 hardcover compendiums. The hardcover compendiums you have to get from a place like In Stock Trades, Organic Price Books. You can't get the hardcover compendiums on Amazon, but the softcover compendiums you can find pretty much anywhere.
What did you think of Last Son? What was the verdict on that?
I think that, okay, this is going to be controversial. Are you ready for a hot take?
I'm ready.
Okay. So, just because Jeff Johns worked on the Donner Superman films and loves Christopher Reeves, and just because Gary Frank in some of the Superman books, or in the case of Last Son, Andy Kubert, can draw a spitting image of Christopher Reeves, doesn't mean the character feels like it has the humanity of Christopher Reeves, you know? So I think it was a gorgeous drawn book. I still think I like Gary Frank's art better. But it was a really cool concept. I wish it had been a little bit longer. Like the twist of who Christopher's parents were wasn't like, you could see that a mile away, you know?
Yeah.
I wish I could have seen, because I the concept of Superman being a father I love, and that was pretty groundbreaking at the time, maybe because I'm reading this in a world post Superman Rebirth, you know. So I've you know, but I would have liked to see Superman and Lois try to raise this Kryptonian child that wasn't theirs. You know, it was just super short, you know. But my favorite part in it was when Superman goes up to Lex Luthor and Lex Luthor's like, nah, man, I'm not joining you. You're joining us. And he's got like his anti-Kryptonian Suicide Squad. I loved that part. I thought the Zod parts were great. I just like, it's a phenomenal book and I love it. But sometimes I feel like the Jeff Johns Superman felt a little less like a human than I wanted him to be. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I do feel like his Superman can come across flat.
Yeah.
Mildly.
Like he thinks just because he looks just like Christopher Reeves, he's Christopher Reeves Superman, and I don't think that's true, you know?
It is an interesting story to even touch on post Jonathan Kent existing now. And that was like Superman's son before Superman's son. Which is really cool to think about. That
would have been sick if they had brought him back. Like an issue where like Jonathan meets Christopher.
Yeah, I don't know how much you've read, but his story kind of continues from that point, where he kind of gets like his own superhero entity in a way.
Oh, you can tell me about it, man. I have no concept of what it was.
Well, I don't want to spoil it too much, but
okay.
It pretty much goes into like the bottled city of Kandor and stuff, and oddly enough, he goes by Nightwing, which is kind of weird. But yeah, his story evolves from there, so it definitely gets a little more not as good, but still interesting as a whole.
Interesting, man. Was that all just like Jeff Johns Action Comic stuff, or?
I want to. I don't think it was Jeff Johns, but I can't remember who was writing at the time.
Wait, is Bunk complimenting me? What did I say that was cool? Maybe not loving a popular thing made Bunk think, oh, me with the 3D glasses on was probably the cool thing. The 3D was awesome. As soon as you put on the glasses, I was punched in the face by Darkseid. The Brave and the Boys, every DC Crisis omnibus ever.
Here we are.
The hardcover compendiums are not oversized.
No, the Ultimate collections are.
What's one book on your shelf that you boys can't live without? Oh, so you both can't live without. You want to go first, or I'm ready when you are?
You shoot, because I gotta double check.
New Frontier, I could never live without. That's to me is, I think, the quintessential DC story. I read it every year. That to me is peak DC. I need to have my Sandman collection just because I love Sandman and I read Sandman a bunch. And I really like the Batman by Loeb stuff. I mean, I own it in trade paperback, Omni, and Absolute. So I like the quintessential stuff, you know. And then newly JLA Avengers is pretty cool, and I would never part with that.
Yeah, I just bagged and boarded my single issues of that, and I was like, that would be a cool Absolute to get too. But that's like super out of print.
Wait! Now you're gonna be corrected by our friend down below because I got hella judged on YouTube. People don't think it's an Absolute edition.
Why? Oh, because it's a little bit taller?
I don't know. Like they say it's not technically an Absolute, but I'm like, it looks like an Absolute. It's got a slipcase. It's in my mind the same dimensions. But I guess it's because it's not called Absolute JLA Avengers. But like that looks about the same size to me, right? So people are just going to be haters, you know?
Yeah, that's definitely an Absolute, in my opinion.
Do you own it in any format or a collected edition or?
Singles. The JLA Avengers and the Marvel versus DC singles.
I don't think was the Marvel versus DC stuff collected in anything. I don't think I've ever read that.
No, I don't think so. I've only ever had it in singles.
I've never gone down the route of custom binding, but I feel like if I had those issues, that'd be the one thing I would go down on and bind.
I want to custom bind my Justice League by Scott Snyder deluxes because they're already oversized. They just need to be put into like one volume.
Oh, I have those. Yeah.
Yeah, but I've never went down that rabbit hole either.
Yeah. How do you think they could be? Do you think they'd be too many to do in one? Would it have to be two Omnis or? Because they're not that big.
I feel like it could be one.
See, okay, but you know what would be missing that's never been collected in oversize?
Well,
I feel like you need No Justice, the 4-issue No Justice, which
yeah, that's the main reason why I kind of don't want to do it, because a lot of those gap filling issues wouldn't be there, because that's strictly Justice League, right? So
yeah. So basically, like they had that No Justice, which kicked off a couple different books. One of them being the Justice League by Scott Snyder, and No Justice has never been collected in anything other than a trade paperback. So
mm,
I would love to do that. I mean, I've also the Tom King Batman ones would be pretty cool, but I think I'm fine with the deluxes.
that has to be coming at this point, right?
I think
And
so. Okay, so we have the Williamson Flash, and which I like is that that's collecting the button, and presumably down the line it would collect. I forget what it's called, but there was another crossover with Batman after the Heroes in Crisis. I think it's called like The Gift or something like that, where like they try to investigate Wally's murder, or sorry, spoilers to Heroes in Crisis, or they go to investigate something. It's called like The Gift or The Price or something like that.
The Price, yeah, I have that in hardcover. Price and Other Stories.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I'm okay. Long story short, I'm happy that Williamson is including the button, because to me that's like really important to read.
Yes, and I like the button a lot.
Yeah. What did you think of Doomsday Clock? Because I know it's super controversial for a lot of people.
I liked it, but I don't really have that gatekeeping mentality where I'm like, Watchmen needs to be left alone because that was the deal. And I know there's like certain members of the community that have that mindset,
which is fine to have. He did get screwed, you know.
He did get screwed, and I definitely like 100% understand that. But I'm a comic book fan first before anything, so it's like, as much as it sucks and I disagree with it, I love Watchmen and I love DC, them coming together. I'm gonna read it.
I mean, I'm such a like a bastard. I have a Rorschach t-shirt that I know Alan Moore didn't approve of.
They're all about.
Right. I liked a lot of Before Watchmen. I thought that was good.
Mm-hmm.
I like Doomsday Clock. I just wish it like I just wish there wasn't so many delays, and I wish the continuity changes mattered more or had more of an impact, you know?
Yeah, delays hurt that a lot. Big
time. What's a twist in a comic that you read is a twist that you didn't see coming? I think who the father was of Last Son. No, I'm just kidding. I said that's the one I saw a mile away.
I mean, Thunderbolts has to take that, right? I mean, nobody saw that coming when that was revealed.
Which the Thunderbolt? What was the Thunderbolts thing?
Spoiler to anybody that doesn't want to know, but Thunderbolts, they're all villains.
Yeah.
You don't know they're villains until the end of the issue, and then you find out that they're villains.
Oh, sick.
Heroes.
Oh, that's cool. I have the 3 Omnis, but I haven't read any of it yet.
Yeah, that first Omni is golden.
That was when I got out of order, because the second and third one I got when they were in print, and I waited on the first one, and then they had like a restock, so I was able to get it. But I feel like I'll read that closer to the movie coming out.
Highly recommend it.
I think I saw like a solicitation. Isn't there like at one point the Thunderbolts, like the Red Hulk joins the team? Because that looks cool to me.
Yeah, that's the more modern. There's been a bunch of iterations, like that Uncaged one that came out with Luke Cage leading the team. And
did you say your one book was it Invincible or?
Oh no. Well, Day-Day's holding me to 1 now. I wanted to say 2, but
okay, say 2. Say 2. It's our stream.
Captain America by Mark Waid. That omnibus, that's my favorite Captain America run, and then Death of Superman, Death and Return.
Heck yeah, I gotta read that, man. I can't believe I haven't read that.
Gives me chills. So good.
I just recently started the Man of Steel by John Burns, though. Like I read the first miniseries, and like that was fantastic. I mean, again, another Superman origin, but still really, really good. I wish those would have been Omnis.
That Omni has to be coming too.
What up, Cycle Cleveland? Fifth of Jackson, sentimental wise, I would say Barnes & Noble Special Edition Ultimate Spider-Man. Omnibus before Omnibuses were out. got from my grandparents for Christmas. Did you buy the updated Ultimate Spider-Man Omnis, or have you not updated because of that?
That was interesting.
Watchmen would be the comic I wouldn't live without. Speaking of which, if you like Watchmen, we've covered a Watchmen reading order that nobody understood. What should I have done differently? Was it the title of the video? What did I do wrong?
I don't know. I mean, I think maybe the title.
It's a pretty helpful video, I thought. Like,
I think so too, because there's probably people out there that read Watchmen and they're like, "Oh, I want more," and they don't know where to go. And you painted that out. So
Omar told me one time that I should have titled that video "Watchmen, what do you read next?"
that's a good title.
I should have listened to him. That's because he makes millions on YouTube, you know?
Yeah, millions.
Or you could watch Jordan's video on every Watchmen format ever, and by ever, it means most of the formats, because there's like 60 formats of Watchmen. We got a good amount of them. I would say that's the one book I feel confident saying won't be reprinted.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
I cherish that I got mine as a gift for my wife, so that's something I'm happy about. I like how Bunk didn't roast me too hard when I said I wanted the question 2 after I said Dennis Cowan's art looked old. He told me one time, he's like, "I'm excited to meet Dennis Cowan at this con and tell him that Jake thinks your art looks old."
Don't you have your question signed, Bunk? Or something like that?
I think or did you not get to get your book signed? Like, did you miss out on getting it signed? I think there's something with the signature. Tell us down below. Other parts like Venom Bike. I actually really liked the Venom by Cates and Stegman. It seemed like Marvel did their version of like a death metal type book, you know?
Yeah. I think that's one of the modern classics, definitely right now.
So the 2 Marvel books that I want to start one soon. I'm torn between Jason Aaron Thor or Brubaker Captain America.
Yeah, that is hard.
You're supposed to help me. Those were the 2.
Fan, so yeah, but I think Jason Aaron's Thor is.
I don't think I've ever read a Captain America comic before.
I don't think you really need any going.
Or a Thor comic, honestly. I mean, I'm just not a decent. I feel like those are the 2 runs to have. I mean, when Mark Waid comes back into print, I'm sure I'll pick it up because it means so much to you. But like. Yeah. I mean, I'm just new to Marvel, so those were the 2 runs that.
Those are 2 great jumping on points, though.
Do you have your Facebook open?
No.
Just because it's funny, you don't have to. We're not gonna respond on it, but you should see that message that just came through in the Jabronis chat. I just think it'll get you a little bit of a chuckle.
I gotta look at that closer.
Yeah. Okay. Day, what's staying on your? What's your one? Oh, Injustice, right, for him?
No, I know what his book is.
Okay. I hope if they do the Snyder Rebirth Omnis, it's printed with glossy paper instead of the matte deluxes. Oh, does it have the? I don't really like the matte paper. It feels cheap to me.
Yeah, I'm kind of a paper snob. I like the gloss.
I knew Tyler's one book. What is Day's one book?
Probably Immortal Hulk.
I don't.
More than likely.
The only Hulk I've read is Planet Hulk.
That's a good read. I think that or Immortal Hulk are 2 you should read.
What era is Immortal Hulk?
That's not Marvel now. I think that's after Marvel now. It's somewhat recent. It's pretty recent, so it'll vibe with your reading style and stuff. It's the more horror style of Hulk story, post Bruce Jones, who did it first, but whatever.
Are you having to do less reading because of the move, or has like that cut down into it? Or is it just
Yeah.
the YouTube you're stepping back from for a little bit?
It's both. I mean, it's just I need time, and with work and packing, I don't have any. So that's the main reason. So I read, I'd say 2 to 3 issues before bed. That's about all I can fit in.
I'm trying to get better with that. Like I want to set a goal to like at least read a single issue a day. You know what I mean? Like because
Yeah.
sometimes I'll go like 2 days without reading, and then I'll read and I'll spend like all day reading, and then I wish it was more of like a marathon instead of a sprint.
Well, do you have
You
any
know,
downtime like during your workday at all?
I work all 8 hours of the day nonstop. I work
Well,
from
let's
home
say
now,
you
man.
have a.
So like now I'm literally working at this desk with all of this, you know, and like I mean, would you have downtime if your job was making TikToks?
I mean, yeah, I would have a lot of bathroom breaks probably.
Yeah. Like, okay, so like I'll have some busy days where I go into the office and I'll shoot like 6 or 7 shorts, right? That or like Instagram photos or collages or carousels. And then it's hard because like my work wants me to be slow with the output of the content, so they only want like 2 posts on Instagram a week. So like I have all of January on a folder, you know, and it's just like slowly posting it. Um but like I have to like stay ahead of the content, and eventually we want to be posting more than twice a week. So it's easy now, but it'll get harder. So I have plenty of downtime. What's hard for me though is that I do work as much as I can during the day, and then my wife gets home and we watch TV and then we go to bed together. So I need to be okay saying, okay, I'll like put her to bed and then go and read. You know, it's jumping into bed because she gets up much earlier than me. So I
Yeah.
don't have much solo reading time.
Yeah, I think I mean,
Hold on one
you
sec.
know, are you a
You can
quick
tell
reader?
your story. Give me one second.
Oh, I was asking you more of a question. Day, you need to say why he needs to read a Moral Hulk. You need to write a paragraph. You're the leading Hulk expert.
I just like heard something crying and banging against my door trying to get in. So that was Grayson. I know. Hi.
Yeah, I was more asking in the sense of if you're a quick reader or not, like during a bathroom break or something,
Yeah.
or a bathroom break, you could power in an issue.
I think it's just like the biggest thing that stops me from reading more is my indecision. I mean, you know how unassertive of a person I am and how bad I am at making decisions.
Yeah.
So like knowing what to read next, like I just got to get better at like the choice of what to read. I feel like because so much I'm like I'll base my decisions on what I could make a video out of. So it's like I don't do a lot of reading for me. I do too much reading for the channel, you know.
Yeah. You should just throw a poll in the group chat with like 3 books and just have us choose.
Okay, I'm doing that right now. In the poll down below, should I do John Burns Man of Steel, finish the correct Lazarus books, or do Brubaker Cap or Thor Jason Aaron?
Those are solid choices, though, man.
I mean, I know I don't buy bad books, I think.
Or you just like everything.
I do just like everything, man. I just tell me what to like and I'll like it. I heard we were trying to answer the age-old question. What age-old question? Omni Nation, you said, guys, you're a guy, which means that question is for you too. Yep, it includes you. We always want to know what Day's one book is.
Yep.
What's up, Lionheart?
What's up, Lionheart?
Illuminerdy, hope all goes well with the move. Yes,
Thank you,
good.
Richard.
How many books do you estimate that you own? Like, how many boxes do you think it's going to be?
Well, dude, I don't even know. Let me do it quick.
To answer, I have all of the Captain America Brubaker books, so I slowly collected them all this year.
Oh man. So.
And I mean books. Your manga doesn't count. I'm just kidding.
I don't even know. I was trying to do a quick math, but I can't even math it. I have 5 shelves with 20. It fits about 25 books on each, but I have, I don't know, a lot. Too many.
So to respond to this, I think I'm gonna get Hoopla tomorrow. So I'm hanging out with some friends of my wife's that work at a library, and they're gonna help get me set up with Hoopla.
Bunk needs to work for Hoopla because he pushes that hard, man.
He does, man.
All that
I
free reading.
I have the one streaming service or comic book service I do have is I have DC Ultra. And I was like, hey man, if you want to read this, like you're welcome to have my login. And he goes, oh no, I have Hoopla. I would never.
With his pinky out.
Yeah, his Hoopla pinky out.
I need to get Hoopla fully too. Like I downloaded the app and everything like that, but I need a library card.
I know. And then every time I say that, Bunk hits me with this Arthur gif that like where he slaps down a library card, you know, Arthur the Aardvark, and he goes like, "You need a library card" or something like that. Like, I think I butchered the gif, but he works for Hoopla. I think he owns stock in Hoopla.
He has to at this point. Has to.
You've got way too much Grant Morrison to say you don't buy bad books.
Ooh.
I love that I made a dime off of a 2-second or 3-second short of Bunk going, "Boo, Grant Morrison sucks. Get him off the stage." Like, because it's so short, the average percentage viewed is like 190%.
I can't believe Bunk said all we got there.
We got Ultimate Power correcting us that we don't want Hoopla, we want Libby.
I'd never heard of Libby. Now I gotta check it out.
Well, Carlos, it was great having you. It's almost 2 a.m. in Portugal. It was fun. See you guys. Stick around. We have a Discord. We'd love to, see you in other live streams. And keep reading and stay brave. My cat is being so clingy right now. It's just like walking around and meowing at me. How much time do we have left with you, man? Do you gotta get going soon, or do you still got some time?
Whenever you're wrapped up with me, it's good for me. Your show, man.
Okay, I gotta silence the Jabronis chat. I can't get distracted by it. Those guys are too funny though, man. Okay, do you have any reading resolutions for the new year? Like any goals or collecting resolutions?
Finish this for Bunk. Read all of Power Rangers. And then get a better setup with my shelves so it's more organized and more accessible and everything like that. That's my main resolution. And get this move finished.
How long do you think the move's gonna take? Like, is it like a multiple month thing or a multiple week thing? Like, when do you move into the new place?
Move into the new place is going to be Easter weekend.
Oh, okay.
But we have to sell this house because it's such a long distance. We have to sell this house in order to finalize the payment on the new house.
So what happens in that in-between time? Like you sell it, but you can still live there until you move into the new place, or?
No, we would have to go to probably my mother-in-law's more than likely for like a week or two. So it's going to be an interesting time.
Let's see. Do I have any more questions I wanted to ask you? How do you decide which books to cover? Like, do you just do it by like release schedule or like when the book comes out again? Or like, do you ever just like mix a random one in there just because you finished reading something dope and you wanted to share it?
Yeah, it'll be, if I finished reading it, I'll do a review. And if it's a release that I still have memory of because I've read it in the past, I'll do a review. But there's stuff that's come out and either I haven't read it or I don't have any memories on it, so I haven't done a review, like Ex Machina or something like that. So I skip over those. So it has to be fresh or something I read in order to do a review.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because I think I tried to do that I got myself into a hole because I tried to do, or like a collecting hole, I mean, because I tried to do what you do where I'd want to be like the first one to announce a new book, but I haven't read any of these books. So I was deluding myself into thinking I could buy this giant Omni and read it and do edit and do a video and post it like right when it's still fresh. And then my backlog just got bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yep, that's what happened with mine, with getting married and then the honeymoon. Then I had such a large backlog. I was covering Jason Aaron Thor Volume 2, 3 weeks after it came out. I was like, okay, well, I guess that's not going to happen.
Did you notice any change in like the view? Like, was it like they got less views when it was less current, or?
Yeah. That I definitely contribute a lot of that early success, at least when it comes to subscribers, not necessarily views, because I was covering new books. But now I think I have like
Your
my
core group.
friends and my
Yeah.
faithfuls and stuff like that, and that's what I make videos for now. Are those people?
Yeah, that core group.
Yeah.
I haven't used Hoopla, but Libby is a great app. See, thanks, Data. I appreciate it. I've heard you talk about how much you love the Bruce Jones Hulk run. That's a good choice. Power Rangers is good. Loving the current story. Have you guys saw Godzilla -1?
No.
It was awesome to see in theaters. Can't wait till it comes out on DVD and Blu-ray. So I've heard Omni Dog obsess about it. It's his favorite movie of the year. And I'm not a super big Godzilla fan. I want to read that comic book where Godzilla goes to hell, because that just sounds cool.
Yeah.
But I watched the trailer with my wife and she said, nope. And
I want to know how people are watching it, because I keep trying to watch it. I can't find it anywhere.
My like local theater is playing it. But it'd be cool when the movie comes out if they have that black and white edition that they were talking about making.
That would be cool, yeah.
I mean, I've only ever watched like, what's it called? Like the modern ones where it's like Godzilla fights Kong and stuff.
Yeah.
So I haven't watched any of like the real good artistic Godzillas. Like I have Shin Godzilla and never watched it.
That's great.
But like, it doesn't sell me on it that much. I mean, I know it's good, but like Omnidog was like, oh, that's more about the bureaucracy, man. But it's great. And I'm like, I don't want to like tune into a Godzilla movie for the bureaucracy, like just the inner working, like the failure of the government. I want to see Godzilla smash things.
If you ever want to know the like undertones, watch Matt Draper's coverage of Godzilla films. Man, he already makes like great videos, but he goes so in depth. It's so cool.
It was earlier. You said how it's crazy how like there are so many awesome comic book YouTubers out there that we don't know, and I was like, holy crap, Omar's end of the year video was long. You know what I mean? Like, and like I wanted to watch it, but like my wife would not have been happy if I watched the whole video from soup to nuts, like on Christmas morning instead of opening presents,
Yeah.
But there were so many, I feel like it's easy to get stuck in your own little bubble. And like, I forget that there's YouTubers outside of the jabronis and my Discord group, like that make amazing content. And it's like, cause I feel like I know all the cool kids. Like I'm already sitting at the cool kids table, not that I'm a cool kid. I somehow got invited to sit at their table, with the jabronis, but I forget that there's amazing YouTubers out there that I need to explore.
I just always try to remember like I was a YouTube fan first before I was a YouTuber, if we want to use that term as what we are. But
hey, it's like what Fire Guy Ryan and Comic Tom said, you have a YouTube channel, so you're a YouTuber,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure if you've had a payment yet, but you have some money in an account someday coming to you from YouTube, right? Like you make a couple dimes, a couple pennies off of it.
It's pennies. Yep.
Yep. Yeah. It's kind of an expensive hobby, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's crazy. Sometimes I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what am I? But I do it because it's fun. It's fun.
And there's worse hobbies, like
there is. That's what my wife always tells me. She's like, well, you could be addicted to crack or something. I'm like, yeah.
Crack might be cheaper though.
Yeah, it might be at this rate.
I'd love to see your top 10 crack strains of 2023 video.
I wouldn't be that expert.
My local theater is going to have it too. I'm hoping they're talking about Godzilla, not crack. Jake and Illuminerdy, great stream. Take care, and thanks again for the comic help and knowledge. Hope both you guys succeed even more. And Illuminerdy, good luck with that move again. See ya, guys. Thanks, Richard. That's so nice. Just remember, guys, please like and subscribe. And again, buying 1 or 3 books, you can feel like such a shill doing that, But hey, it'd be nice to get a free book someday this year, right? Dude, what I didn't know about is there's like the commission credit you get for OPB, and then there's also your rewards points. I've never tapped into my rewards points before. So every time you make a purchase, you get reward points.
Yeah.
And I had like $60 worth of reward points. So,
Omni.
Right? Young Justice.
I can't wait for you to read that.
It'll be good, right? It looks fun. I watched the TV show religiously.
I think it's going to be pretty cool when people read that and meet Superboy Connor Kent for the first time too, because a lot of people think or correlate Jonathan Kent as Superboy, but
yeah,
we had a Superboy before that, so it would be cool to like go into that for people for the first time.
It was interesting because it's like it's hard to. I think reading that will make Infinite Crisis hit better. You know.
Oh yes.
Because like that lacked a little bit of emotion to me, obviously, because I hadn't developed a huge relationship with the character yet. You know.
Yeah, yeah, and then going into Jeff Johns' run and the relationships that are built there, yeah, that makes Infinite Crisis just hit so much harder.
Paper crack. Warhammer was an expensive hobby too. They have plastic crack. I don't think I have the friends for Warhammer. Like I if I ever tried, I'd buy all the stuff, have my little army, and then have nobody to play with.
Yep.
Like the reason I bought Baldur's Gate is because my dream would be to have like once a week or once every 2 weeks a D&D group at like a game shop. Like I would love a D&D group. And
I'm down. Let's do it.
Could we do an online one?
I think there are online ones, but
that's what I wanted to do for my bachelor party. We looked into hiring a game master for a one shot. And everyone was like, sure, fly us out to LA. Things start at $5,000. And I was like, nope.
Never mind.
Yeah. Cause I would have paid like $500 for like a DM to come for an hour and do a one shot, you know, if like the characters were pre-made. I mean, I don't know what DMs cost. So, but clearly a lot more than I thought. What are you putting your collection? Where are you putting your collection until you move into the new house?
In not a pod, not that, but a pod, but just not that make because they're so expensive. It's like a U-Haul pod.
Why don't you just ship them to my house and I'll keep them safe?
Oh yeah. No, I can't. I'm so anal about my books.
No, yeah, you're like, after how I saw how you packed your books, you're no Mitch, man. You know, that's what you're saying in your head right now.
I'm worse than Mitch. My books have like double layered bubble wrap around them. My wife's not allowed to pack them. Only I can pack them. I'm crazy about it.
Have you ever bought like damage books or anything like off like the damage section of IST or anything like that? Or like, are you a huge stickler for that?
Huge. Yeah. I don't even like corner dings.
I feel like it depends on the book. So if it was like a story that I was waiting for, I needed to be pristine. But I got like the deluxe InCal, which I don't have any huge relationship with the InCal, but I've heard it's always good. I got it on the organic price books whatnot stream for like $20 and it's $100 book. Hell yeah, I'll pay $20 for that, you know? But
yeah,
as
long as it's something I did. If it's damage I did, I'm okay with it, but I don't like it damaged from other people, if that makes sense.
So how do I bully you into buying an absolute or convince you to buy an absolute? Which one are you on the fence about?
I would be JLA Avengers, but Hush is the one that I keep thinking about, but I'm like, no, I can't do it.
Do you have the Omni or the Deluxe or anything? Like, what do you have currently for Hush?
I technically or did have the Omni and the Deluxe edition, but then I gave the Omni to Havoc, one of my viewers. We're going to trade for the Paul Dini Omnibus.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's probably the smarter choice. You could be like me and have the Hush Omni, the Paul Dini Omni, and the Absolute, which is completely unnecessary.
Yeah, I love Hush. That's like my favorite Batman story, but I don't know if I could double dip. It would be one or the other.
Yeah. Ooh, what about Hush Unwrapped?
That's what I have.
Nice.
I think.
I buy every absolute. What's your favorite absolute? And what's your least favorite absolute? Like like if you were on an island and you had to eat your absolute to stay alive, what absolute you eating first?
Somebody presented that question to me too. Like, if your house is on fire and your family's safe.
Well, I mean,
But,
we have a friend that just recently went through that, you know?
yeah, yeah. But what would be the first thing you'd run in and grab, like, as far as book?
My cats.
Well, they're already
Or my
safe.
wife. Okay. I think it's hard because like the poet in me wants to say the book that means the most to me, but like the logic person in me says grab the books that are the most expensive. So I'm grabbing that Absolute JLA Avengers or Dark Victory, which are probably like the two most expensive books I own.
Yeah.
But like those aren't the books that mean the most to me. Those are the books I've paid the most for, or I could sell for the most money right now. Not that I would, you know.
Yeah.
But like they're the hardest to replace. Now, if I was going away on a trip for a few weeks and I could only take one book with me, that would still probably be New Frontier. That to me is like the quintessential. Did you buy the deluxe of that recently, or
Yeah.
was that your first time reading it, or?
No.
Okay.
I read in singles, and that was my first time reading it as like a deluxe or a more pristine product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm starving, man. I think we should wrap this up. I could talk to you honestly all night, but I promised my wife that we'd get dinner tonight.
No, go for it, man. I'm just gonna keep rapping and maybe read. Then my
Oh,
night.
I got excited and thought you meant like musical rapping. Illuminary, where can they find you?
Illuminerdy.
Oh, wait, hold on. We have to answer this first. Which absolute has the thickest pages to sustain me?
That is a good question. They
It
do
is
have
good.
really thick page quality.
Maybe the fourth world. Oh, you know what? I think it's the planetary omni is the chunky absolute. The planetary absolute is it used to be two absolutes, and then the reprint was just one volume for all of it, and that is a chunky absolute.
That's the same as the omnibus, right?
So I think it contains one additional story. Don't quote me on this, but I think the Authority Omni is the better route because that contains one additional story. But I think the Planetary Absolute contains one thing the Omni doesn't have, if I'm not completely mistaken. But let me show you how chunky this is, and then you can tell them where they can find you.
Oh,
look at this! Look at this beast!
That's an omnibus,
right?
Wow,
that's huge, right? Look at how chunky that is, dude.
That is literally an omnibus.
Wow. So yes, it looks like he's eating Absolute Planetary.
Bottoms up, William.
Wow. Do you have the fourth Absolute Swamp Thing? The one that goes first? The Lean Ween? Is it Len Ween? Lin Wine? I didn't know there was actually 4 Swamp Thing Absolutes until I streamed with somebody else and they had 4 Absolutes and I only had 3. So I promptly got the 4th one.
Yeah, the 4th one comes before Alan Moore though. Right?
Yeah. Yep. Which is like, I guess the Bronze Omnibus, the Swamp Thing Bronze Omnibus contains more, but what it contains other than that, I heard isn't very good. So I think the Absolute was a good way to go. But dude, Tyler, this was a lot of fun. I know you're busy with your move, but after you get moved into the new place, I'd love to stream again, man. Like honestly, like I do this because I need friends. So this was like hanging out with a friend, and you know I'm one of your faithfuls.
Yeah.
So where can they find you?
Illuminerdy _ on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram.
Heck yeah. Well, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. I'll say one last time. If you're buying 1 or 3 books, you can save $2 on organic price books with code Braveboys. Buying 4 or more books, save 5% with the Braveboyssit. And don't you have a manga code or like a manga thing?
They got bought out, so that's up in the air currently.
Okay. Well, everybody, keep reading and stay brave. Good night, everybody.